Hello everybody, welcome to Stamford Bridge for live Premier League commentary here on 5 Live Sports Extra. Chris Wise and the former Premier League striker Glenn Murray with you. The lights are flashing. We're waiting for the two teams to emerge from the tunnel just in front of us down to our left hand side, and with the sound of that music you know they are on their way out. Chelsea and Bournemouth, 4th against 7th in the Premier League, 3 points between them. One you'd imagine would fully expect to be pushing for European football this season. That of course is Chelsea. Bournemouth, the surprise package, and the fact, Glenn Murray, that they can go level on points with Chelsea tonight with a win here just shows you what a remarkable season they're having.
Yeah, so far it's been an exceptional season from Andoni Iraola's men. They come here right in touching distance of Champions League football. But on the other hand, Chelsea are trying to close that gap on 3rd place after a little bit of an unstable form.
Because there was talk, wasn't there, only a few weeks ago about could they push Liverpool in the title race. It was something that Enzo Maresca time and again was knocking back and saying, we're not there yet, we're not good enough yet. And just as those words were ringing round the ears of all, suddenly Chelsea have gone off the boil a bit.
Yeah, no, and I think at the start of this season that probably wasn't the aim. The aim was to get back into Champions League football, to finish in the top 4 of the Premier League. And right now they're on course for that. So Enzo Maresca, as far as I'm concerned, has done a fantastic job. And it's all about consistency at Chelsea. They showed that pre-Christmas. They need to get back to that.
So the two teams walking out onto the pitch then. Chelsea with some players in tracksuit tops down there with the different shades of blue on them from the home side, and Bournemouth with their black tracksuit tops on as well, but they look like they are going to line up in the usual strip you'd expect to see a Bournemouth team in, with the red and the black stripes. And we've got the big white and blue flags being waved in the distance by various ball boys and ball girls here at Stamford Bridge. And over to our left hand side, a packed away end full of Bournemouth supporters, and to our right a massive blue flag that is moving across the section of Chelsea fans right now that says London's first, London's finest on it, and then the crest, the Chelsea badge, and Pride of London written in big white letters beneath it with a couple of yellow stars on there as well. It's a shame really, Glenn, from a Bournemouth perspective, that they are, and we will talk a bit more in detail about this, they are missing so many players through injury at the moment, particularly in their forward line, because you feel it might change the dynamic of this game a bit.
Yeah, I think they would have come into this fixture with a little bit more confidence had Unal or Evan Nielsen been fit, but unfortunately that leaves a big gap for Bournemouth in that number 9 position. Atara's filling that place today, and I suppose the question is, it's January, do they go into the transfer window?
So let me give you the two teams then, as the captains are about to come together in the centre circle for Chelsea. From their game against Crystal Palace, there's no real point really with either of these two teams looking at how they got on at the weekend with team selection, because frankly matches here for Chelsea against Morecambe and for Bournemouth against West Brom, both comfortable wins, but there were mass changes for both. So for Chelsea, from that Palace 1-1 draw, their last Premier League game, 2 changes. Lavia, who is fit again, having played 45 minutes in the Cup at the weekend, he comes in. Noni Madueke is back for Chelsea as well. Gusto and Neto are the two to make way. So Sanchez in goal, Caicedo's going to be the right back, Achiampong, Colwill and Cucurella, the rest of that Chelsea back 4, and then Lavia, Fernandez, Madueke, Palmer, Sancho and Nicholas Jackson up front. And for Bournemouth, with the two teams in a huddle at the moment, exchanging their final words before kick-off, a couple of changes from their Premier League win over Everton early in January. Adams and Brooks are in, Kluivert and Evan Nielsen are out. Evan Nielsen's obviously going to be out for a while now for Bournemouth with that injury. So Travers in goal, Hill, Housen, Zabani and Kirkes, the 4 defenders, Adams and Cook, the 2 holding midfielders, and then Semenyo, Christie, Brooks and Dango Ouattara, it looks like, is going to lead the line for Bournemouth. But no Evan Nielsen, no Enes Ünal, so they are scratching around a bit, Bournemouth, for forwards at the moment. Might be something they look to do in the days ahead in terms of recruitment, because it's one area that all of a sudden Glenn Murray has become very important to the Cherries.
Yeah, in only a matter of days it's become almost an emergency for Bournemouth. Obviously they've got Daniel Jebison on the bench, who can play number 9, but very much at this level unproven. So yeah, the question is, in January, do Bournemouth go into the transfer market to try and find a number 9?
Well, the roar as the game gets underway, and it starts with a Bournemouth kick-off going from left to right, and the ball is all the way back with Mark Travers in goal tonight. Remember, Kepa Arrizabalaga, the Chelsea player, is on loan with Bournemouth, but he's ineligible tonight against his parent club as the ball goes out to the right-hand side for Madueke. The sliding challenge from Milos Kerkez, the Bournemouth left-back, and it's a Chelsea throw inside Bournemouth's final third, far right-hand side. Caicedo's gone over to take it, so he's picked it up. He's got the yellow ball in his hands right now. We're 40 seconds into the game. Caicedo tries a quick throw into the penalty area looking for Palmer, then headed down by Enzo Fernandez, picked up by Jackson, back with Palmer again, who's got it to Enzo Fernandez, who couldn't take it in his stride, and it bounces off his boot and it runs through to Mark Travers, and that, Glenn Murray, is a massive let-off for the visiting Bournemouth.
Yeah, as always, it's Cole Palmer, the creator. He just plays a square ball across the 18-yard box and right in the penalty spot. It's Fernandez who just lets his touch slip away from him, and it goes into Travers' arms. Kindly for the Bournemouth goalkeeper, but unfortunate for the Chelsea captain.
Well, they're starting with some purpose here, Chelsea. They've won the ball back off Bournemouth inside their own half, and Cole Palmer with the salmon pink boots riding a challenge, sending it back to Levi Colwill, and then Chelsea comfortably play it out through Lavia out to that right-hand side for Caicedo. But at the moment they're in their own half, so Chelsea in the blue shirts, the blue shorts, the white socks, going from right to left towards the shed end in this first half. Howson, the Bournemouth defender, getting it back to goalkeeper Travers, who gives it a heave upfield, a misplaced touch from Lewis Cook. He was rather fortunate there that bounced to Ryan Christie.
He was. As it comes to him, he just tries to help it round the corner over his left shoulder, his right boot. It actually comes off the wrong side, his foot, and goes over his right shoulder, and it's Fernandez who reacts quickest.
So Bournemouth with the ball, but on the edge of their own penalty area with Tyler Adams, and back it goes to Travers. 2 minutes play, Chelsea 0, Bournemouth 0. Chelsea with 36 points so far from their 20 Premier League games, and Bournemouth on 33 points, so they are just a win away from going level with Chelsea, but they'd have to win very well tonight if they were to leap above them in the Premier League table. I'd say it's an unlikely scenario.
Already I've noticed with Bournemouth, they're super expansive, so wide, hills high, Kerkez is high. At the moment we're just looking, and David Brooks has gone down off the ball. He looks in quite a lot of pain. Sancho's on the ball, reluctant to put it out. Fernandez has just gone over to Brooks, but the attack continues. Yeah,
Chelsea aren't going to stop for Brooks, but they're going to have to now. That sliding challenge has put the ball out of play. Well, what happened to David Brooks there? This could be quite a concern for him, because this was, as you say, Glenn, miles off the ball. He's in the centre circle. He's lying on his side, so his left side is on the ground. He's kicking his legs around. He looks to be holding his chest, his abdomen. I'm not quite sure what's happened here.
No, neither am I. We're just getting a replay on our tiny... Oh, it's actually coming together. Off the ball coming together. It's Mark Cucurella. Brooks goes to make... He's looking at it over his left shoulder. He's looking where the ball's coming from, and he makes his run towards his right. Doesn't see Cucurella, who just stands his ground and kind of steps into him, checks him. Little bit naughty by the Chelsea left back, and I think David Brooks has really felt that.
Do you think he's winded? Do you think that's what the problem might be?
Yeah, possibly. I don't think there's any real damage, but just one of those little instances where Cucurella's seen an opportunity to leave one on an opponent, let's say.
Mark Cucurella, who overstepped the mark at the end of a Chelsea game here last month when he was sent off against Brentford after the final whistle had gone. He'd scored in that game as well. He's the one actually who's waiting to take the Chelsea throw at the moment, which is going to be
looking all innocent as he bounces the ball on the touchline.
David Brooks is being helped back to his feet and is putting his hands on his head as if to try and stretch his body out a bit here, the Welshman, as he's walking off the pitch towards this near side. Our commentary position is really low here, Glenn. You were saying you haven't been to Stamford Bridge for quite a while now, and we are only about 6 or 7 rows back from the 2 dugouts here.
Well, the last time I was here was for that amazing game last season, Chelsea v Manchester United. There was that many goals in it, I can't remember what it finished. I think it could have been 4-3 in the end. Yeah, that's a cracker. Hopefully we can get a rerun tonight.
Yeah, or you've just put the mockers on it. It's one or the other.
That's more likely. which I'm sure Bournemouth would be happy with if they got away out with a 0-0 draw.
Indeed. 0-0 as it is at the moment. 5 minutes played. We're back underway. Chelsea have got the ball 15 yards outside Bournemouth's penalty area. Enzo Fernandez is fouled by Tyler Adams. There was a coming together between both of them. They each ended up on the deck, and the referee Robert Jones has given Chelsea a free kick.
Yeah, I actually think that the free kick is by Lewis Cook, who just bumps Fernandez. He looks about to release the ball, and he stumbles into the oncoming Tyler Adams, tag teaming from the Bournemouth defensive midfielders.
Yeah, that's a good spot by you there, Glenn. It was the little shove by Lewis Cook that sent him spiralling into Tyler Adams, but of more concern for Bournemouth is exactly where this Chelsea free kick is located, because it is pretty much 10 yards outside Bournemouth's penalty area, and two tremendous set-piece takers are over it. Enzo Fernandez and Cole Palmer both sizing this up. 6 minutes played. Chelsea going from right to left in this first half, shooting towards the shed end. Have this free kick. Mark Travers in all yellow, the Bournemouth goalkeeper, trying to get his wall organised. Palmer, he beat the wall, but he couldn't beat Travers. Takes a little step to his left-hand side, claims it at chest high.
Yeah, it's quite a flat free kick in the end, and as it's going on target, you think it's always got a chance, but it's quite comfortable for Travers in the end. Catches it, no problem at all. And now Chelsea have the ball back.
They do, and they have it back with Levi Colwill, who's gone all the way back to Robert Sanchez, who's given that a big kick upfield. If you're going on the weekend for Chelsea, it is a 5-0 win over Morecambe when they made 10 changes from the team that last played in the Premier League against Crystal Palace. So only Pedro Neto, who started that Palace game, was in the 11 for Enzo Maresca again at the weekend. But Neto's one of those who's dropped to the bench tonight, as Zabani, the Bournemouth centre-back, the Ukrainian with the long hair, gives it back to goalkeeper Travers, and up to the left-back area where Tyler Adams is under some pressure from Cole Palmer, and actually he's been forced to put that ball out of play for a Chelsea throw.
Yeah, Tyler Adams recycled into the left-back position, and he cuts back in, expecting for the goal kick to be on, but Nicholas Jackson's covering him. He gets in a little bit of a pickle, turns back on his left foot. It's a little bit of a mess of it.
Yeah, so Chelsea winners against Morecambe in the FA Cup at the weekend. Bournemouth had a almost equally big win against West Bromwich Albion at Vitality Stadium, so it is all Premier League draws in the FA Cup fourth round for both of these sides, and actually difficult games as well. Chelsea have been drawn away to Brighton, and Bournemouth have got to go to Goodison Park to face Everton, and Everton now of course with David Moyes in charge. Here come Chelsea, deep inside Bournemouth's half on the right hand side. Madueke trying to make some space, couldn't get away past Kirkes, who sweeps it out of play low for a Chelsea throw far right hand side, still goalless.
There was a moment there in the middle of the park where Cole Palmer manages to take it down on his chest, standing still, drills a ball through to Madueke, a wonderful technician of the football.
And Noni Madueke has been in and out, Glenn, of this Chelsea team recently. We've heard Enzo Maresca say before there was one particular game a few weeks ago where he said he left him out for technical reasons. That was a match against Fulham, and then of course didn't start him against Crystal Palace in that last Premier League game either.
Well, I think when you're Enzo Maresca and you look at your squad, I mean, it's just so good. You can't not help but tinker, especially with your attacking options. Even when we get a look at the bench tonight, you've got João Felix, Neto and Cuckoo. I mean, it's never ending, the talent, the forward talent of Chelsea, and I suppose if you have one off game, there's always a chance that the manager might just pick someone else.
Given away by Levi Colwill, tried to play the ball forward. Housen stepped in, Jackson pushes him over, so Bournemouth free kick in the centre circle inside Chelsea's half. 9 minutes in, Chelsea 0, Bournemouth 0, and it is taken short to Zabani, who's gone with the gloves tonight, Glenn. It doesn't feel like a glove sort of night to me.
No, especially not when you're 6'4" either, Chris. But you know what, that was a really good professional foul by Nicholas Jackson, because Housen stepped in and Atara was on.
And now Chelsea turn the ball over. They get it to Palmer, pushes it forward to Sancho. He's in the Bournemouth box, Jadon Sancho cuts it back for Palmer, who tried to lift it up delicately towards the far post. I think he was going for goal there, Glenn, wasn't he, rather than trying to locate Madueke. It's drifted wide of the post.
Do you know what he was? As Sancho rolls that back, he rolls it back with the perfect weight, and as Cole Palmer's coming onto it, he just kind of clips it. It's almost like a dink come shot, and he's trying to find that far corner. Travers is nowhere near, and it just drifts and glides past that far left post. A wonderful bit of football by Cole Palmer, just misses the target.
Yeah, nearly had his 14th Premier League goal of the season, Cole Palmer. Only Mo Salah and Erling Haaland have scored more in the league this season.
He looks very bright tonight. Even out of possession, I've noticed his pressing, his intensity in his press. He looks like a man who didn't play at the weekend and can't wait for a kick around.
Here's Lewis Cook. It feels like a lovely night for football, actually, under the floodlights at Stamford Bridge. The pitch is absolutely immaculate. You'd be mistaken from here for thinking it's a carpet. It's just glorious.
Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful setting this evening. The capital city, and a lot riding on the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Chelsea and Bournemouth, in their own individual ways, will be thinking, how high can we climb this season? How far can our campaign go? Here's Tyler Adams, the American, the Bournemouth midfielder, who has had a fair share of injury problems since his arrival at the club. There was a point when Bournemouth were going to get him that Chelsea, not too long before that, had been linked with a move for the former Leeds man Tyler Adams. Here's Cucurella with his hair bouncing, passing it forward to Jackson, and now Enzo Fernandez with the white bandage around his right wrist and a black tattoo which almost looks like a bandage around his left. And Chelsea give the ball away on the far right hand side through their young centre half Josh Achiampong, and Bournemouth have it back again. 11 minutes played, Chelsea 0, Bournemouth 0. Glenn Murray.
Just as we see House and Zabiani just passing that ball between, that's a real success story and a really strong partnership. Bournemouth have got the back there. Two young men, but very, very accomplished both on the ball, and when there is danger, they're comfortable putting their bodies on the line. But Howson's the one that likes to steps in with a real swagger and a confidence.
I've just noticed that Howson's got gloves on this evening as well, so it's both of Bournemouth centre-backs who have gone for that option.
It makes me worry a little bit, centre-halves with gloves on.
Would you be having a quiet word in their ear if you were out there tonight?
Oh, they're both bigger than me, Chris.
Not by much, Glenn. Cucurella in the left-back position, doing his duties to stop a forward ball from Bournemouth, and then Jackson drags it away from Zabani on the halfway line. Movement ahead of him, slips it in for Palmer. Oh, brilliant! He sits the goalkeeper Travers down, and when Travers hits the ground, Palmer rolls it into the corner. That's his 14th Premier League goal of the season. They call him Cold Cole Palmer, and that is why. Clinical, classy, 1-0 Chelsea.
Well, we got a glimpse of him not long ago in front of goal where he tried to clip one into the top corner, and this time he makes no mistake at all. Once he's played through by Nicholas Jackson, he feigns to shoot it. Travers goes down, he plays it, rolls it into an almost empty net, but it all came. Zabiani goes tight in on Jackson on the halfway line. It looks like the referee, Robert Jones, was going to give a free kick, and Zabiani almost gave up on it. He did blow the whistle, he played advantage. Nicholas Jackson got turned, and once he got turned, Cole Palmer made a brilliant run, and then when he's in that 18-yard box in the form he's been in for the last 18 months, he makes absolutely no mistake at all. 1-0 Chelsea, and it's that man Cole Palmer.
And Glenn, genuinely, how many players in the pressure of a Premier League game would be willing and confident enough to finish in the way that Cole Palmer just finished?
Well, I mean, he's just so special. I think he's one of the best players in the league. What I really like about him is he feels like a bit of a throwback. He's a bit of a maverick. He does play in a structure for Enzo Maresca without any doubt, but the way he glides from position to position, everything he does on a football field looks absolutely effortless. Some people, they have to be strong, physically strong, they have to be exceptionally quick. He just glides and does as he wishes, and what he does do better than anyone else is manipulate the football.
He's a born natural, isn't he? And Chelsea 1, Bournemouth 0 is the scoreline. 13 minutes in, that goal from Cole Palmer, and immediately down the other end, Bournemouth have got a free kick of their own. It's quite wide out on the left hand side. Lewis Cook and David Brooks are the two players that are standing around the ball, so you've got the option of Cook on his right foot or potentially Brooks on his left from here. Both Zabani and Howson, the two centre halves, are amongst the presence on the edge of Chelsea's penalty area. It doesn't reach them, it comes in towards that near post area, and Caicedo on the volley has whacked that behind, and it's a Bournemouth corner. Yeah,
it looked like David Brooks was trying to almost curl it in behind that Chelsea backline, low and flat, but Moises Caicedo's equal to it. The front man He swipes at the ball. I think he's a little bit disappointed actually. As he boots that ball high into the stand, it just veers off for a Bournemouth corner.
He didn't catch that ball as well as he caught the one here at the end of last season against Bournemouth when he scored from the halfway line against them.
No, not quite that good.
Right, here comes the Bournemouth corner. They're 1-0 down, cooking towards that near post. It's Jackson there this time to clear it away. That's 2 set pieces in quick succession. I think the Bournemouth will be pretty disappointed about, because the ball's now all the way back on the halfway line.
Yeah, both hit the front man, and that is criminal. When you're away at Stamford Bridge, and it make those moments count. 2 set pieces back to back. Front man clears both.
Hill on this near right hand side. James Hill was on loan with Blackburn Rovers for the first half of last season. Leaves it for Brooks, and then in the back line is Zabani. He didn't have a forward option, so spins back and gives the ball back to his goalkeeper Mark Travers. Bournemouth have won 3 times here in Premier League history, and you, Glenn Murray, will remember one of those occasions very fondly.
I can indeed, yeah. I think Bournemouth were the champions of the Championship, and Chelsea were the champions of the Premier League, and we came here and we beat them 1-0.
You haven't told us who scored the goal.
I managed to get on the end of a cross.
Yeah. Humble as ever, Glenn Murray. I note that is 10 years ago this December, which is going to age you.
That is depressing.
Yeah, yeah. Here's Zabani. Up it goes towards Wataru. Hasn't been able to carry out that forward roll as well as he would have liked so far. Chelsea spring forward again with Lavia. Didn't get the pass right for Jackson, stopped by Zabani.
No, he didn't. He had 4 options in front of him. Chelsea players running at all angles. He picks the wrong one, plays it right to a Bournemouth man, and Bournemouth are on the attack.
They are, and they're doing it with Semenyo, whose low ball in is stopped by Achiempong and cleared away for a Bournemouth throw on the far left-hand side. Josh Achiempong, the 18-year-old, made his first Premier League start in that 1-1 draw with Crystal Palace at the start of January for Chelsea. England under-20 international. He's been with the club since he was under 8.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, after Tosin scored 2 at the weekend, the FA Cup, I expected him to be back in the starting lineup, but Enzo Maresca must really believe in the young man.
In fact, all of Chelsea's goal scorers from the weekend are on the bench tonight for them. Joao Felix was excellent here against Morecambe. Christopher Nkunku got another goal in another competition that isn't the Premier League. He's got so many this season, but most of them have not come in the top flight, and of course one did, because he got the winner in the reverse fixture.
I read a really good stat about him actually.
Go on.
In 12 games he's had 16 goal involvements in all competitions, 12 goals and 4 assists. Now that is some record.
And amongst that, Glenn, only 3 Premier League starts.
Well, if you're scoring goals at any competition, I don't think it matters. He'll be sat on that bench and he'll feel ready to come on, and definitely if he gets an opportunity he'll be confident he can take it.
Probably a bit frustrated as well that he isn't getting more opportunities in the Premier League given those numbers. Here's Brooks on the right wing for Bournemouth. They're 1-0 down because of that Cole Palmer goal, and then Ouattara is tripped by Levi Colwill, so Bournemouth free kick, this near right hand side, so pretty much right in front of us here at Stamford Bridge in our commentary position. And it's taken short by Cook to Zabani. We played just over 18 minutes, and on the halfway line is Tyler Adams, who is almost at times, Glenn, playing in between those 2 Bournemouth centre-halves, the midfielder.
Yeah, he is. Bournemouth, like I say, really expansive. Tyler Adams drifts out to, like you say, that left-hand side. Cook always remains in that centre as the pivot. And I'm just looking at Chelsea, and every time Bournemouth seem to have any kind of reasonable possession, they drop quite deep, including Nicholas Jackson protecting their goal.
A free kick here, Bournemouth, which is 15 yards inside Chelsea's half. This is the only goal so far tonight has been here at Stamford Bridge from Cole Palmer in those early games. Brentford 0, Man City 0, West Ham 0, Fulham 0. Every game is available this week on 5 Live Sports Extra and on BBC Sounds. And you pointing at a potential Bournemouth change. Is that what you've spotted?
Well, I'm just looking down there, and Justin Kluivert is down. I'm not sure if he came out without his shin pads on or he's putting his shin pads on to get ready, or there's a little bit of movement, that's all I'll say on the Bournemouth bench.
And Andoni Iraola, actually the Bournemouth manager, I noticed that he had a little piece of white paper in his hand as well, and he was scribbling it down, and Kluivert's taking his training top off, so I think you're right, Glenn, I think he's coming on here. So somebody, maybe David Brooks perhaps, has got a problem. And given all of Bournemouth's injury issues at the moment, that list is long. Senesi, Tavernier, Araujo, Scott, Smith, Sinisterra, and of course the strikers are Nal and Evan Nielsen. This is potentially bad news for Bournemouth to be losing another.
Yeah, well, that is the only outfield experience Bournemouth have got on their bench, and out of the 30 goals they've scored this year, 10 have come from substitutes. So I think he wanted to have some kind of impact from the bench. Iraola in the second half, I imagine, would be his preference, but it looks like he's going to have to make a change early doors. And like you say, the only person who's had any real contact was Brooks when Cucurella just checked him off the ball.
Right, well, let's see, because Kluivert's number is clearly on display in front of us on this near left-hand side, and we are being told that it's actually James Hill, the Bournemouth right back, who's going to come off here as he lofts a ball forward, which is bounced all the way through to Sanchez. Is that an injury or is that a tactical change, do you think, Glenn?
I think that he looks pretty unaware, James Hill. I think this is tactical. I don't think Iraola's happy. He's been on the edge of his technical area for most of the game, chastising to his players, trying to tweak the formation, and I don't think he's happy with his team not getting out in possession, so he's going to make a change to the formation, and I would say it's tactical.
Caicedo spinning out of the Bournemouth press. They were hounding Chelsea there. Caicedo did really well, as did Lavia, actually, to shift that ball so quickly. And now Chelsea have moved that from the edge of their own penalty area, and they're coming up towards the edge of Bournemouth. Sancho running in from the left side, shoots with his right boot, is blocked, comes back to Enzo Fernandez, has a little look around, sideways pass infield towards Lavia. Now Caicedo, 1-0 Chelsea lead against Bournemouth. Cole Palmer got the goal. Madueke crossed on the right hand side, cleared by Zabani, retrieved by Palmer for Chelsea, and then Colwill to the left for Sancho. Sancho lets it run under his boot, and James Hill's about to see his number here. He doesn't know it yet, Glenn. Watch the reaction. There he is.
No, I actually think he does know. Yeah, he wasn't getting out to Sancho there. He was limping slightly, and yeah, he's walking down the touchline, shaking his head. I think he's picked up some sort of, I'm not sure where from, maybe muscular, but definitely knew about that there as he got brought off. No disappointment, just I think the disappointment of his own body letting him down.
He did that thing, Glenn, that footballers sometimes do, where they want everyone to know that they're injured, so they pull the shorts up a little bit just to show that there's an issue and that the limp is amplified.
Well, you learn something every day. I didn't know that was a thing, Chris, in all honesty.
Were all your limps genuine then?
I didn't realise I limped anywhere.
They never took you off, Glenn, that's why. Halfway through the first half here, Chelsea 1, Bournemouth 0. Glenn Murray, former Bournemouth, Brighton, Crystal Palace forward with us here on 5 Live as Bournemouth try and spring through Chelsea's midfield. They do it with Semenyo. He's gone past one. He then goes into Achiampong, who makes a firm challenge, and according to the referee, got enough of the ball. And now Chelsea break. Enzo Fernandez. Ryan Christie tries to stop him with the sliding challenge. He can't. Fernandez, through it goes. It's Jackson in the box, and Jackson beaten by the strength of Zabani, though the clearance wasn't great from Lewis Cook from that right back position. And now Chelsea have got it again inside Bournemouth's penalty area. Madueke shoots, repelled, bounces to Sancho. He's still inside the box at the moment. Couple of step overs from Jadon Sancho, trying to get the room, tees it up for Palmer, taken off his toes by Kluivert.
Honestly, Chelsea, when they approach that 18-yard box, looks so dangerous. Whether it's Madueke on one side, whether it's Sancho's control with the football is exceptional. He steps over, running it, you don't know which way he's going to go. You've got Nicholas Jackson occupying the centre-backs, and then Cole Palmer's always just on that periphery. Fernandez willing to pick every second ball up. They just look so dangerous. Cucurella always flying forward at every opportunity. They're a joy to watch at times, Chelsea.
They really are, aren't they, when they're in full flow. There's a slight pause here because Cole Palmer, I think, is asking for some treatment here, and in the meantime Lewis Cook has just changed his boots as well. The Bournemouth number 4 on this near side.
Well, the fourth official isn't very happy with Cook stepping off the field of play. He's saying that he can't go back on, I think, and seems to be a little bit of an argument between Antonio Iraola and the fourth official. But all the Bournemouth players have come over for a little drink of water and just trying to regroup after what has been quite a frantic start here at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, it has. So there's a pause in the game, 25 minutes played. Chelsea 1, Bournemouth 0. You're right, Andy Davis was in quite a lengthy discussion with Lewis Cook about changing his boots without his permission. Of course, boots are all the rage in the last few weeks, with another player on the pitch here tonight, Mark Cucurella, after everything that happened at Tottenham Hotspur.
They are indeed. I can't quite make out what Mark's got on tonight, but he hasn't fallen over yet.
He hasn't, and I don't know if he's. He keeps the spares now down by the touchline, but I guess the intriguing thing about that night, Glenn, of course, was that he wasn't like he changed moulds for studs, was it? It was studs for studs.
Yeah, I mean, just sometimes the boot might not suit the player. Who knows, it might be an excuse. He lost his footing on a couple of occasions. It was clear for all to see, and he felt the need to change boots and make a real song and dance about it.
He really did. Chelsea 1, Bournemouth 0, Brentford 0, Man City 0, West Ham 0, Fulham 0. They're the other Premier League games that got underway at 7:30, like this one. Nottingham Forest against Liverpool to come. That's live on 5 Live tonight from 8 o'clock, so that's getting underway very shortly. What a massive game that is. I imagine the City ground will be pumping tonight by the Trents.
Oh, it will indeed, especially when they're welcomed by their famous song. It really does make the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, and it will be absolutely electric at the City ground tonight.
I reckon Mull of Kintyre will be heard all round Nottinghamshire this evening, as that pass forward from Semenyo out of the reach of Ouattara, his forward. There's an apology from Semenyo. It's a goal kick. Lewis Cook's been given permission to come back onto the field, so we're back to 11 against 11. 4 more commentaries for you tomorrow as well on 5 Live Sports Extra, and via BBC Sounds. We've got the North London derby for you on 5 Live, Arsenal against Tottenham, and also Everton Villa, Newcastle Wolves, and Leicester Crystal Palace as well. Here is Jadon Sancho collecting the ball, midway point in his half, back to Cucurella, and then forward to Jackson, and then Sancho pops it through the legs of 2 in a row. It was Lewis Cook, and then it was Ryan Christie.
Honestly, he's an absolute joy to watch, Jadon Sancho, reborn in a Chelsea shirt. Manchester United must be scratching their heads.
Yeah, I haven't seen a double nutmeg for a while actually, but
it was beautiful as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, and all of that took place right in front of us as well, and the crowd really appreciated that bit of flair from Jadon Sancho. Clearly is enjoying his evening, as Enzo Fernandez has been gripped by Ryan Christie, so he stands still as if to say to referee Robert Jones, go on then, blow your whistle, and he does. Chelsea free kick. Give me
a free kick, and he gets one, unfortunately. I always feel as he should wait for the referee to give the free kick rather than demand it from him.
Chelsea have moved the ball back quickly to Levi Colwill, their centre half, born just down the road from Bournemouth actually. He's a Southampton boy on the south coast. Cucurella heading it forward, Jackson tumbling forward, Housen was behind him, no free kick given that time to Chelsea, and Zabani's clipped clearance has gone as far as Enzo Fernandez, whose touch is poor, and Enzo Maresca on the touchline leaping up and down. He was slightly irritated with Enzo Fernandez there for giving that ball away. Brooks has lost it again for Bournemouth. It's lofted forward, collected by Zabani, all a bit scrappy for a moment, and back with Travers.
Yeah, David Brooks doesn't seem to be able to find his way into the game at the moment, does he? He's on this right wing just below us, but a couple of balls have gone into him, but nothing's really stuck. He's not been able to gather any momentum as it bounces off him again.
He was the match winner in Bournemouth's last Premier League game against Everton, David Brooks. All the captain's armband for their FA Cup victory over West Brom at the weekend as well.
And Cook's just slipped into right back, hasn't he, behind David Brooks, leaving Christie and Tyler Adams at the base of that Bournemouth midfield, with Cliver slipping into that number 10 behind Ouattara.
And he has played there before, Lewis Cook, in that right back position for Bournemouth. Andoni Iraola has tried him there previously, but you can count the number of occasions on one hand in terms of how many times he's done it. Here's Enzo Fernandez for Chelsea, skipping away from Christie, who can't get to grips with him at the moment, and then Fernandez shoots. Travers outstretched to his right hand side. He got a little flick of the fingertips to it, the Bournemouth goalkeeper. Chelsea corner, leading Bournemouth 1-0.
Yeah, too easy from Enzo Fernandez's point of view. Christie comes rushing, he skips by him, and all of a sudden he's bearing down on Bournemouth's 18-yard box and hits the shot from about 19 yards out. It doesn't really catch it as well as he could. It's still aiming for the bottom corner. Travers does well to get down to his right hand side and tip it round the post.
They're winning that midfield battle at the moment, Chelsea, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, and in all fairness, it's an exceptional and very expensive one.
It is, it certainly is. Enzo Fernandez is one of those that Chelsea had to dig deep into their wallets to purchase. Here comes the Chelsea corner then with 30 minutes played. It is Chelsea 1, Bournemouth 0. In comes the corner towards that near post, and it's bounced out of play, and it's going to be another Chelsea corner.
And now we have two centre midfielders, both playing right back for either side. Moises Caicedo for Chelsea, and Lewis Cook for Bournemouth. So that inverted full back becomes kind of natural.
It's all the rage. Chelsea have taken short corner that time. Palmer, Enzo Fernandez back across the edge of the 6-yard box, away by Ouattara, who was lurking there to do his defensive duties, the sole forward for Bournemouth tonight, in a role that he actually hasn't played too often during his time with the club. And all the way back with Robert Sanchez in the teal goalkeeping jersey, shorts and socks, sweeps a pass out to this left wing for Jadon Sancho, cut out by Lewis Cook, retrieved by Cucurella, forward by Palmer, almost through the gap for Jackson, taken by Travers, but Jackson liked the intent on that pass.
Do you know what, just watching him, just his vision in front of him, his willingness to always try and play the ball forward. As soon as he gets that, looks up, sees Nicholas Jackson on his back, and just tries to swing it round the back of the centre-backs. Gets a little bit too much on it this time, but always trying to penetrate Cole Palmer.
It's worth noting, Glenn, as well, the form of these two teams at the moment in the Premier League, because Chelsea are without a win in their last 4, 2 draws, 2 defeats in that time, and Bournemouth are on this club record Premier League run of 8 games unbeaten.
Yeah, so they come with plenty of confidence, and even though Chelsea have had a dip, I think the season's been very, very good, and they just need to try and find that consistency and build those, well, not build them, get those relationships going again. And we can see it, Nicholas Jackson, Cole Palmer just linking up again to get the first goal, and once they start getting on the same wavelength again, Chelsea can be deadly.
We've just had our first yellow card of the game for Chelsea forward Nicholas Jackson. He stood on the back of the heel of Ryan Christie as he moved the ball away from him in midfield, so Bournemouth free kick.
Yeah, doing his defensive duty, and just watching it back, it's actually really unfortunate when he doesn't step on him. He goes to step past him, catches his toes, and ends up treading on the back of his foot. Very unintentional, and I would say that it's quite a harsh yellow card.
Nicholas Jackson perhaps making that point as well to the referees. Bournemouth take the free kick. Zabani up to the edge of the penalty area, taken down by Caicedo, who had loads of time to choose what he was going to do with the ball, and gets it back off Hachiem Pong, and forward for Madueke, who's lightning quick to get to it ahead of Howson. Madueke deep up inside Bournemouth territory, right hand side. Madueke trying to trick, he's got away from him, he's still got it. There's Jackson, he's missed over the top of the bar from 5 yards. Nicholas Jackson, after brilliant wing play from Noni Madueke, and Chelsea frankly should be 2-0 up.
Yes, they should. Madueke just glides past a couple of Bournemouth defenders, and when he gets to the byline, he gets his head up, he cuts it back. In all fairness, the ball back is bobbling, it's nasty, it's about 2 foot off the ground, and it whips in to Nicholas Jackson, but he just needs to use the pace on the ball, redirect it on target, and he's almost on the score sheet. Unfortunately, tries to put too much on it, off balance, blazes it high over Travers's bar, and the chance goes begging for Chelsea.
And you don't have to be a great lip reader to work out what Nicholas Jackson was saying to himself off the back of missing that chance. No goal in his last 4, Nicholas Jackson.
No, I did notice that Cole Palmer made a beeline for him, give him a little high five, said come on, next chance you'll get it. But he does look a striker very much out of confidence at the moment.
West Ham has scored against Fulham in the other 7:30 game tonight, along with Brentford Man City. West Ham 1, Fulham 0, so that of course is Graham Potter's first home game in charge of the Hammers tonight. Carlos Soler has got that West Ham goal, and Chelsea are just offering a little bit of concern towards Enzo Fernandez, who was caught with the studs of Antoine Semenyo, but he was stooping into the challenge, wasn't he, Fernandez?
Yeah, he was. He's not happy with what the referee's saying. Semenyo apologises, and the game continues.
And it continues with Hachiem Pong, who's trying to stride forward. Semenyo was shoulder to shoulder with him. Free kick has gone Chelsea's way, is it? Well, the referee looked to me, Glenn. I mean, he's changed his mind now. He's almost said
no, he hasn't.
He has given Chelsea the free kick. And then Palmer's tried to take it quickly, and the referee stood across his path. What on earth is going on?
He's just had one of those moments, hasn't he? He's saying that Semenyo fouled, I think it was
Achiampong, wasn't it?
Yeah, Achiampong stepping out, and it was quite confusing, wasn't it? Because he angled as though he was going to give the free kick to Bournemouth. He gives it to Chelsea. Cole Palmer puts the ball down. He strikes the ball. Rob Jones then reaches out and blocks it with his foot, picks up the ball, moves it back 10 yards and says it's a Chelsea free kick. A very strange circumstance there.
And Andoni Iraola is deep in conversation with Andy Davis, the fourth official on the touchline, to say, and I can't translate what he's saying from here, but I'm guessing it's along the lines of, why on earth has that gone against us, not for us? As Brooks slides in on the halfway line and the touch has come off a Chelsea man. It's a Bournemouth throw. Yeah,
I did think that it was Semenyo had done enough. He came back, he got in front of Achiampong, and Rob Jones didn't see it the same way as I did.
So the ball is back with Mark Travers, the Bournemouth goalkeeper, with 36 minutes in, and Bournemouth going from left to right in this first half as we look at it here at Stamford Bridge in West London, one of the great venues of the capital. Up it goes towards Perkez, who took a touch and thought he was fouled. No free kick given to the Hungarian. And Colwill sends the ball back to his goalkeeper, Robert Sanchez, who's been all season really dealing with a fair bit of flack, and he's given the ball straight to Kluivert here. Enzo Maresca's got his hands on his head. Chance for Bournemouth. It's Ouattara, it's Christie with a diving header. He couldn't get onto it. Then Brooks, then Kluivert. It's off the post with Sanchez outstretched on it, and Chelsea now can clear.
Well, it's all from their own doing. Sanchez, a bad pass, but
now Chelsea roaring forward. Jackson pushing players out the way. Jackson, he's hit the post. Goodness me. Both teams have hit the woodwork inside 30 seconds of each other. Travers was beaten. Bournemouth have got the ball in their right back area with Lewis Cook. Cucurella then barged into the back of David Brooks. It's a Bournemouth free kick. It's all happening, and somehow it's still only Chelsea 1, Bournemouth 0.
Well, somebody just turned the temperature up at Stamford Bridge, because the pace of the game just erupted, didn't it? Both teams hitting the post, tackles flying in. And I must say that the first game between these two produced 14 yellow cards, the worst in Premier League history, and it just seems like it's starting to boil over a little bit now.
And just to continue the theme of statistics, Glenn, I noted this morning that these two have hit the woodwork more times than anybody else in the Premier League this season, so rather ironic that they should do it within 30 seconds of each other.
Yeah, I mean, it was bad play by Chelsea. Sanchez, a pull ball out, Kluivert picks up, plays to Ouattara, doesn't quite get the ball under control, cuts it back. Christie throws himself at it, doesn't quite get any contact on it, and eventually Brooks picks it up, plays it back to Kluivert, who passes it off Sanchez's post, and then from that Chelsea spring on the counter-attack right down the other end. Nicholas Jackson bearing down the 18-yard box, decides to shoot, pulls it to the right of Travers's goal, and it just bounces right off the foot of the post and back into play.
And back come Chelsea at Bournemouth again as Jackson, who's starting to cause some real problems now. Enzo Fernandez into the feet of Cole Palmer. 1-0 Chelsea lead. Madueke, right-hand angle of the penalty area. Cole Palmer, left-footed, Travers outstretched to his right, pushes it away, and the ball has gone out of play, and it's going to be a Chelsea corner.
Yeah, Chelsea look like the team that are going to extend the lead. Even though Bournemouth have just hit the post, it's all Chelsea traffic, and it seems when Bournemouth do get up the other end, they're even more susceptible to the Chelsea break. Cole Palmer on the edge of the 18-yard box there, to open it up on his left foot, trying to find that far corner. It's a relatively easy save for Travers, who pushes out for a corner.
A goal at the City Ground to tell you about. Nottingham Forest 1, Liverpool 0. Chris Wood has scored for Forest against the Premier League leaders.
Oh, big goal that.
Huge goal. What a massive goal that is at the top of the table. Here Chelsea with focus on what they need to do, leading 1-0 against Bournemouth. Corner from the left towards that far post. Travers got a punch on it, but wasn't wholly decisive. It's dropped to Caicedo, the Ecuadorian, who's playing as a right back for Chelsea this evening. Cuts it back for Chelsea to rebuild, and they do it by working it out to the left-hand side for Palmer. Palmer's giving it to Sancho onto his right foot, drops a shoulder, wants Palmer to go one side of him, gives it to Palmer. Palmer's cross deflected behind of Ouattara, and Chelsea have got another corner.
They've got a lovely understanding between each other, haven't they, Sancho and Palmer? Saying that, I think everyone's got a good understanding on a football pitch with Cole Palmer. Whoever plays around him, he makes them look like even better players.
And so Fernandes coming over to take the corner. The Argentinian will be disappointed, I'm sure, in a way, that his fellow Argentinian Marcos Senesi, the Bournemouth centre-back, isn't available at the moment. Otherwise he'd have been facing him tonight. West Ham have got 2 goals in 2 minutes against Fulham. They're now 2-0 up. Thomas Souček has got the second for them against Fulham in that first game in the Premier League for Graham Potter. Lost his first game in the FA Cup against Aston Villa. And this corner isn't going to happen straight away for Chelsea, because the referee Robert Jones is having a discussion with quite a few members of both those in blue and red and black inside the penalty area. But Enzo Fernandez, with his arms and his hands on his hips, now takes a few strides backwards to prepare to take this corner from the left-hand side, with Chelsea leading 1-0, 4 minutes of the first half to go, into that near post. Travers with a punch on it. It drops to Palmer on the edge of the box, and the whistle goes. The referee has seen an infringement in there amongst the flurry of bodies, and Glenn Murray, it's a Bournemouth free kick.
Yeah, there was a lot of traffic in that Bournemouth penalty area there, wasn't there? A lot of movement, a lot of spinning around, but it seems to be a tactic of Chelsea's to put it right on top of Travers. I think they feel like there's a little bit of a weakness, and that's the second time he went to punch it, and neither punch was very convincing.
So Chelsea, who began the night 10 points behind the leaders Liverpool and have played a game more than Arne Slot's team, are 1-0 up here against Bournemouth, and with Liverpool losing at Nottingham Forest as it stands. That's an 8 o'clock kickoff. That's live on 5 Live. Here we are on 5 Live Sports Extra. We're on BBC Sounds as well. You can get Brentford against Man City and West Ham against Fulham via the BBC Sport website tonight. Here's Housen. Cliver just took his eye off the ball, and Chelsea turning over, and Jackson again can run at them, and it might be a repeat because he's given it to the goal scorer Palmer. Palmer's been forced wide by Zabani. It's good defending by the Ukrainian. He's taken Palmer away from goal. He's actually taken him outside of the box. Yeah,
it was actually, you won't hear this come out of lips very often, I don't think, tonight or this season. It was a bad touch by Cole Palmer.
Here's Sancho shooting from the slight angle on the left-hand side. Colwill, Cucurella, and then back from Enzo Fernandez to goalkeeper Robert Sanchez. And Enzo Maresco likes that, with his shaved head down in front of us and his blue puffer jacket, as Chelsea with Lavia, who's suddenly got loads of room. He's given it to Madueke inside the box, and the challenge comes in. It is a corner, and there's 1 or 2 Bournemouth defenders looking at their midfield and saying, where were you?
I must say, for a team that are out of form at the moment in Chelsea, they play with a real confidence and assuredness, don't they?
It's Tyler Adams who was leading the complaints towards his fellow teammates. Good bit of defending to see Madueke out. Chelsea corner, 1-0 up here against Bournemouth. Cole Palmer got the goal. Enzo Fernandez whips it up towards that far post. The first headed clearance was a bit unconvincing, then Cook's clearance has gone as far as Madueke. It was a half shot from him. Back to the edge of the penalty area with Fernandez, sent in by Palmer. There's Jackson, what, once but twice, and he's missed both of them. The first time saved by Travers, and on the follow-up he's put it wide of the post, and Enzo Maresca leaning forward, the Chelsea manager, dragging his hands across the ground. He's frustrated, and he's now, Glenn Murray, wanting to see a replay of it on the little screen with his coaching staff members behind him.
Well, let me tell you, he does not want to see a replay of it, because that is an horrendous miss. Wonderful play by Palmer again. He gets that ball on the right hand side, cuts back on his left foot, and he whips a ball in. It's a wonderful ball to the back post where Nicholas Jackson finds himself 6 yards out. He heads it on target. It's actually a good save by Travers down to his right hand side, but the ball arrives back at Jackson's feet on his left foot. He's got to react quickly. He hits it, and he hits the side netting. He's got the whole goal to put it into. Travers is in the back of the net on his back, hit the target, and you're on the score sheet. He hits the side netting.
Now clearly, Glenn, I will bow to your better knowledge here, but it looked to me like he rushed that, Nicholas Jackson. It looked very hurried, that follow-up finish.
Well, I mean, Travers saves it, is a matter of yards away from him. He's got to rush it. It's got to be quick. I can understand what you mean, maybe a little bit snatchy, but definitely a striker out of confidence. But what I will say about Nicholas Jackson is, even when he's out of form, he's still a handful. He still has an impact on the game. Let's not forget he's already got an assist this evening.
So we're about to see the fourth official with the boards down in front of us to let us know how many minutes are going to be added on at the end of this first half. 5 is the answer. Bournemouth have got it on the left wing with Cliver. Cross into the box, taken away by Lavia for Chelsea. And then striding forward is Caicedo. Working in infield for Enzo Fernandez on the halfway line. Enzo Fernandez for Nicholas Jackson. Jackson just holding up, waiting to see what other options are around. Goes back to Enzo Fernandez again. And Bournemouth haven't really had an opportunity to truly test Robert Sanchez in this game, have they?
No, they haven't. They haven't at all. They're trying, but they can't quite summon a really good opportunity. Obviously, it was the one from the Chelsea bad bit of play where they hit the base of the post, but really, it's been quite a comfortable evening for Chelsea so far.
Jadon Sancho with Chelsea leading 1-0 through Cole Palmer's goal. 13 minutes in, on number 14 of his Premier League season. It won't surprise you to hear that he is the most creative player in the Premier League this season, Cole Palmer. Not just at Chelsea, but he's created more chances than any other player in the top flight.
Yeah, and it does bear the question, if they had a more complete centre-forward, and I think Jackson's an excellent centre-forward, and I think he will become a top-class centre-forward, but if they had one right now, would that make the difference?
Yeah, it is worth keeping in mind, he is still 23, Nicholas Jackson, which isn't necessarily always the prime age for forwards. Jadon Sancho, little loose with his pass. Ouattara and Cliver, between the two of them, can't capitalise on what might have been a gift for Bournemouth. And then Christie is hauled Lavia down to the ground, and he's going to do well to stay out of the book here of referee Robert Jones. He's not going to stay out of the book, is he? It's a yellow card for Ryan Christie.
I actually thought he was going to stay out of the book, and I'm not sure if he's actually, as he passes Rob Jones, if he's talked himself into the book there. I think he was right on the verge of getting a yellow card, and I think what he had to say to the referee might have just confirmed that decision.
It was quite a strange exchange, wasn't it, between referee and Scotsman Ryan Christie there.
Yeah, Rob Jones is bigger than Ryan Christie, and he kind of stood over him for a second, didn't he, as he warranted the yellow card.
Yeah, it was like a teacher and a schoolboy, really, and Ryan Christie just had to stand there and listen to what the referee had to say.
Yeah, he learned who the boss was there.
So it's Chelsea throw, Chelsea free kick, I should say, far right hand side, pretty much on the halfway line, and rather than going forwards, they've gone backwards, all the way backwards actually, to Robert Sanchez, and now out to this near side for Cucurella. They are leading 1-0 Chelsea here, and we're in the final couple of minutes of stoppage time of this first half as Jackson feeds it through for Caicedo. On it goes for Palmer, well covered by Tyler Adams, who has found himself in the right place a couple of times, and not by coincidence, to help out those Bournemouth defenders.
And every time that ball goes forward for Bournemouth, it just keeps coming back. They haven't got that physical presence of Evan Nielsen up there fighting for every ball, fighting for every inch against the centre-back. They've got Ouattara, who's just getting almost bullied out of it by Colwill and Achiampong.
Not expecting to have Evan Nielsen back, Bournemouth, until early April from his metatarsal injury, and Enes Ünal, who perhaps would have felt that was his opportunity to shine, then subsequently damaged his cruciate in his knee, so he's going to be out for quite a significant period of time. He's certainly not going to play again this season, as Bournemouth have the advantage. No, the referee, good bit of refereeing actually. Semenyo can't keep the ball in play on the left hand side, so it comes back for a Bournemouth free kick almost on the halfway line.
Yeah, and I'm just actually looking at the stats of the first half, and it kind of cements my feeling that Chelsea have been the better team without doubt. They've had 13 shots to Bournemouth's 1. Bournemouth haven't hit the target yet, haven't asked a question of the Chelsea goalkeeper. Chelsea all of a sudden looks super confident.
But we know there's fragilities there, because their last home game they were beaten by Fulham here. This is Zabani heading it forward, away by Caicedo, back the other way by Tyler Adams. Then Colwill leaps not once but twice and wins both of his aerial duels. before it's half volleyed upfield by Enzo Fernandez. Jackson's going to chase it. Awkward bouncing ball. Jackson's being a pest. Zabani managing to head it back to Travers, who has to spiral out of the way of a Nicholas Jackson challenge to get there, the goalkeeper.
Yeah, Nicholas Jackson was close to getting the end of that, wasn't he? And do you know what? That's his character. He's missed a couple of opportunities. A lot of strikers would slump their shoulders, put their head down, but he doesn't. He keeps on going, he keeps on fighting, keeps on trying. He will get his reward eventually. He'll come out of this bad patch and goals will be there for the Chelsea man.
There's the half-time whistle. Chelsea leading Bournemouth by a 1-0 at the break, scored by Cole Palmer. Brilliantly taken as well, 13 minutes in, fed by Nicholas Jackson. Ran straight into the penalty area, feigned to shoot. Travers went to ground, and as he did so, Palmer rolled it into the corner. But Glenn Murray, it's been at 45 minutes that they have largely dominated Enzo Maresca's team.
Yeah, they have. They've looked supreme, in all honesty, flooding forward when they've been able to break in from defence. And Bournemouth just haven't seemed to be able to get their foot on the ball or get their high press going like Andoni Iraola likes them to do. And the top and bottom of it is they've missed their number 9. The ball's been coming back too easy, and you just wonder, looking at the bench, they've brought Clivert on already, who's the most experienced player on the bench, or experienced outfield player on the bench, should I say. And you just wonder, is Jebbison going to be introduced into the action in the second half?
I just think from Enzo Maresca's perspective, and I know this is an easy thing to say, but he will feel that given how dominant they've been, his team need to score again, because in the back of his mind he probably will be thinking about that Fulham game here on Boxing Day.
Yeah, without doubt, it's about putting the game to bed, and his team have created the opportunities to be able to do that. They could easily be 3-0 up here at Stamford Bridge and the game could be done, but it's not. Still in the balance, and Andoni Iraola, he'll be telling a few home truths in that dressing room. Maresca will be the happier of the two managers, but he'll want more goals in the second half.
So Bournemouth, with all their injury problems, not quite carrying the same punch as we've seen in recent weeks with this team that are on an 8-game unbeaten run in the Premier League. And Chelsea, who have not won in their last 4 in the top flight, leading Bournemouth by a 0 at half-time. We'll have more from Glenn Murray and myself in the second half here shortly on BBC Radio 5 Live. Let me just tell you what else is happening in the Premier League tonight. Half-time Brentford, it's Brentford 0, Manchester City 0. West Ham are 2-0 up against Fulham in Graham Potter's first home game in charge of the Hammers. Soler and Souček with the goals for them. And over on 5 Live right now, and we're going to take you there for the sounds of the City grounds, because it was an 8 o'clock kickoff, so they're about 24 minutes in, and Nottingham Forest are leading Liverpool, the leaders, by a 0 So let's join your commentary team for Clinton Morrison and Ian Dennis.
Swinger off the left boot, in it comes now, headed out by Milinkovic, headed further away by Hudson-Odoi. Bouncing ball is volleyed back by Alexander-Arnold. Forest fans will cheer that all the way towards Alisson. Collects it midway through his own half. Gravenberch gets a touch, and then his forward ball finds Szoboszlai, trotting forward. Midway through the Forest half now, starts to accelerate, finds Diaz. Diaz will shoot. I've seen Liverpool now have 4 efforts outside the penalty area. Normally Liverpool try and work it into the box.
I totally get what you're saying, but it has opened up. But you're right, they do usually try and work it into the box. I think that was the right option, but I've seen Gravenberch, I've seen Szoboszlai, you're right, having ridiculous shots from there, but I think it did open up, and if he catches that right, it's going to have to be something special to beat Sells, who's been very good this season.
Incidentally, those 4 efforts, they're yet to find their range, all 4 off target. Forest still lead. Gakpo to Diaz, caught by Anderson, holds his hands up. The free kick was never from there. It's got to come back a good 10 yards. Even then, I don't think it was from where McAllister's taken it. As Van Dijk, left of the centre circle, over the halfway line he comes. Wood is mindful of Konate. He's trying to loiter in between the 2 central defenders. Robertson pushed up. Alexander-Arnold on that far side, the right. On this near side, though, is Gakpo. Back towards Robertson. Van Dijk, Elanga with pace, runs at Van Dijk. Doesn't unnerve him, but he makes him pass the ball rather quickly out towards Robertson. That was almost cut out by Wood, but instead he finds Konate. And now he goes to Alexander-Arnold and the right back is right of the centre circle. Now starts to run into a central area as the ball is hit long by Van Dijk, and he sweeps it downfield, and it's brought under control by Salah. Right side of the area, runs in field, outside the box, crosses, Gakpo on the stretch. His header is off target, goal kick. Forest still lead 1-0.
They do, but that's better. The pass from Van Dijk, he's the best at that. The best centre-back in the Premier League that does that, where he just fades it with the outside of the boot to Salah. And Salah's, when you're running that Williams like that, it's difficult, but Gakpo just gets in there too early. But they're growing into the game, Liverpool. They'll be disappointed being 1-0 down, but they won't be disappointed with the way they're playing at the moment.
In the corresponding fixture last season, it was Nunez who scored a 99th minute winner for Liverpool, who on that occasion were going 4 points clear. But in fact, the last 3 games between these two here have all finished by that scoreline of 1-0, and it's by that scoreline at the moment that Forest have their noses in front. 25 minutes played. Tomorrow night we've got the North London derby for you, Arsenal against Spurs, which is an 8 o'clock kickoff, as the ball is drilled out by Alexander-Arnold, and diving forward, unable to keep the ball in play, was Cody Gakpo, and that will go out for a Forest throw. Another goal in the Cup at Deepdale, Katie Smith.
And it's an equaliser, and you've got to say it's deserved. It is now Preston 1, Charlton 1. Some good work down the right-hand side from Small. Beats Holmes in space, drives into the box, think he was going to have a shot, then decides to cross it to Berry, who tucks it home. 1-1.
So 1-1 at Deepdale, 1-1 between Leyton Orient and Derby County, and also level at Field Mill, Mansfield Town and Wigan, although they're yet to have a goal in that other FA Cup third round tie. 26 minutes in. What have you made of the half so far, Clinton?
No, it's been good. As I said, it's exactly what I expected it to be, and Liverpool are getting frustrated with the long shots they're having, but they've just got to be patient, because you can see Slot, he's not frustrated. Every time they get into areas, and just then where Salah crossed it, Gakpo headed over, that's how he wants them to be patient, and the spaces will open up. You can't defend like this for the whole 90 minutes. I know Forest have, but gaps will appear.
Here is Gravenberch running away, doing well, keeping his balance out towards Gakpo, left corner of the area. Gakpo's right-footed cross. Williams again, good defending. Right back tucked in, covering. McAllister lifts it, brought the ball back to Konate, running back inside his own half. In the Championship, Cardiff against Watford. Laura Kenyon.
Goalless here, but Cardiff closest to breaking the deadlock. Alex Robertson, Chris Willock and Callum Chambers all testing the Watford goal. Watford not a single shot on target. 3 minutes until half-time. It's Cardiff 0, Watford 0.
McAllister, good forward ball. Gakpo with a cutback, left-hand side of the penalty area. Forest have plenty of red shirts back, and Aina will hook it clear, and out of play it goes for a throw that Liverpool want to take quickly as we approach the half hour, as they trail by 1-0. The leaders Liverpool, who came into this on 46 points, 6 clear of Arsenal, 6 clear of Nottingham Forest. Remember Chelsea, who are a further 4 points back, lead Bournemouth by 1-0 at Stamford Bridge, as Luis Diaz cuts it out towards Gakpo. Gakpo level the area, Elanga is in front of him. Gakpo's right-footed cross is a deep one. Szoboszlai was there. Forest get the ball away. Hudson-Odoi is having his shirt pulled. Liverpool will try and get it back. Salah succeeds, running out towards that far side. In field, he finds Alexander-Arnold. Low ball in from that right, cut out by Milinkovic. Headed further away by Anderson. Drops towards McAllister. Hits it early, hits it forward, hits it with too much pace, and it runs out of play for a goal kick. The other game in the Championship is at Home Park. John Akers.
2 minutes to half-time. Plymouth 0, Oxford 0. Plymouth well on top, 7 efforts at goal. 1 shot on target. They look good under their new head coach. It's Plymouth 0, Oxford 0.
Certainly looked good at the weekend as they knocked out Brentford. Back-to-back clean sheets for Plymouth. And Kevin Nanskaville, the caretaker manager before the Austrian, watching in the stands in West London at the weekend, and he certainly gave a rousing speech to the players as he took charge. Oxford United are only 5 clear of the relegation zone, so that's certainly a key game at the foot of the Championship. This is a key game at the top of the Premier League. And Nottingham Forest lead by 1-0, and there's now been a goal at Home Park. John. Hello, John. Can't get to John just at the moment.
He's celebrating the goal.
15 minutes to go to the break. Forest have been awarded a free kick. It's right of the centre circle, inside the Liverpool half. A high line of the white shirts of Liverpool to offer as much protection to Alisson at the moment. I mean, that line of Liverpool's defence must be at least 30 yards away from goal. Murillo hits it rather flat downfield, and it drops into that expanse of a space and then runs out of play and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, the one time Liverpool get caught, that's when they get punished, and that's what Forest like. Because other than that, it's been comfortable for Liverpool, and it's Liverpool the one that dominate, but without really testing themselves. And I think that would be Arne Slot's biggest disappointment so far in this first half.
I can tell you it's Oxford United who are leading at Plymouth. Will Vaux has got that goal just before half-time. So Plymouth 0, Oxford United 1. This is an 8 o'clock kick-off, so we've got at least another 15 minutes remaining. Arne Slot keen to get his instructions across to his players as he points and pulls with his, first of all, his left hand and then his right hand, as he now puts those hands inside his trouser pockets. Still looks quite relaxed by and large, Arne Slot, as Konate, right of the centre circle, over the halfway line, passes the ball along the ground, out towards Salah, midway through the Forest half. Alexander-Arnold is now on the ball. He passes the ball to Salah. Williams is quick to close him down. Salah, though, beats him, bursts him towards the penalty area. Murillo, though, again, his anticipation. Murillo was straight away there.
He reads it because he knows Salah maybe he's got to run on Williams there, and he covers, and that's why they've been so good as a defensive unit, because if one of the fullbacks gets beaten, the centre-halves are there to cover.
It's going to be a Liverpool throw, though. Alexander-Arnold just starts to wander back down that touchline. And Gravenberch on the halfway line will go all the way back to Alisson. Matt Sells, who's currently leading the race for the Golden Glove with 9 clean sheets, hasn't been tested as yet by this Liverpool side as Robertson, his forward ball. There's been a feeling of late that Liverpool haven't necessarily been at it, and once again, you would say for a team that has only failed to score on 2 occasions under Arne Slot, that they're still not hitting the heights of they were a few weeks ago.
No, they're not, and I said that when I watched them in the Carabao Cup against Tottenham. He's not hitting his heights anyway, that's for sure this season, Andy Robertson, because that's just a blind pass. He's having a go at Gakpo. It was poor from him, he had time to turn. So yeah, they're not at it at the moment, but I wouldn't be worried if I was Liverpool fans, because this team can just turn it on just like that.
We've re-established connection with Home Park and John Akers.
Yeah, sorry, my line dropped out just as you came to me, Ian. We've just seen some goal here. Plymouth 0, Oxford 1. Will Vaux will never have scored a better one, I'm sure of it. Running onto it, 25 yards out. First time, top corner, keeper didn't move. Plymouth 0, Oxford 1.
Thank you, John. Preston 1, Charlton 1 is a half-time score in the FA Cup third round. Liverpool are attacking. Salah far side the right. Appealing for handball. Referee again plays the advantage. Szoboszlai hits that, but overhits it, left-footed. I think in fairness to him, it might have bobbled, but you'd have a better view of that, Clinton.
It is poor from Szoboszlai, but I don't. He's in there too early, Gakpo. So when the cross comes in, he's already standing in there. It should be wider, because it's a difficult angle to score from that. I understand that centre forwards, when you're playing 3 up front, have to lock off that back post, but I think he's getting in too early, Gakpo.
1962-63 under Andy Beattie was the last time that Forest did the league double over Liverpool. They won 2-0 away and 3-1 at home. It is only the second time in their history that they've achieved a league double over Liverpool. The other time was 1910 and 11 under Fred Earp. But Nuno Espirito Santo could be adding his name to that small list, because Liverpool at the minute, that pass from Robertson was behind Gakpo, and much to the delight of the home side, it's gone behind and out for Gakpo and out for a throw. 12 minutes to go to half-time. Half-time at Mansfield in the Cup. Sarah Mulkerrins.
Goalless at the break. The Wigan keeper has been the busier. He's been forced into a number of saves. Stephen Quinn, the latest, should have done better with a finish from a quick ball into the area. Wigan have had moments. Johnny Smith in on goal, fired his shot wide, but it's 0-0.
Elanga gets away from Robertson. It requires Van Dijk to come across, and Van Dijk just seems to glare in the direction of the Scottish international.
Yeah, because he's getting bullied by Elanga. Elanga's all over him. Can't handle his strength, he can't handle him for pace. So that's why Van Dijk is not really having a go at him, but he glares at him to say, you need to liven up.
Elanga whips up the crowd as Aina waits to take the throw. Come on, you Reds, is the cry from inside the City ground. Forest lead by a goal to 0, 11 minutes to go to the break. Aina, another long direct throw into that crowded penalty area, headed out by Liverpool, picked up by Nico Williams, runs out towards that far side. Alexander-Arnold gets a foot into the challenge, helped out by Salah. He hits it away downfield. Diaz is onside. He's up against Murillo. He's got support here from Godi Gakpo if he can find him. But Murillo did ever so well. Stayed tight enough, and then with an outstretched left leg, broke up the attack. That was superb by Murillo.
It was, but it was poor from Diaz. You can't give him that opportunity, Deno, but you're right, good defending.
Right, we're going to leave the coverage at the City Ground for now here on 5 Live Sports Extra. Remember, if you want to continue listening to Nottingham Forest against Liverpool, you can do with Ian and Clinton on 5 Live and BBC Sounds right now. But here at Stamford Bridge with myself, Chris Wise, and Glenn Murray, we are set for the start of the second half. Chelsea against Bournemouth, 1-0 Chelsea lead. Cole Palmer with the goal, 13 minutes in, assisted by Nicholas Jackson, who has had multiple opportunities himself to further extend this Chelsea lead. And both teams are out on the pitch and we are set to go. Chelsea are going to get us underway in the second half in their blue strip with the white socks going from left to right, and Bournemouth in the red and black striped shirts, the black shorts with the red trim and the black socks, and they are going from right to left, and immediately a long ball forward into Bournemouth's defence is dealt with by Zabani, out of play for a Chelsea throw on the right hand side. Madueke is going to take it. 20 seconds into the second half. Give you the two teams in a minute, but Glenn Murray, a word from you about what you perhaps are expecting to see from this second 45 minutes.
Well, I think Enzo Maresca's team talk would have been the easier of the two. More of the same, just convert our chances, pretty much simple team talk for the Chelsea manager. Bournemouth on the other hand, he'll want more. Andoni Iraola.
Caicedo carrying the ball to the byline, sends it into the box with some pace. It was just behind perhaps 2 or 3 members of Chelsea's attacking, came into the penalty area looking to cause a problem there, and it didn't quite reach any of them, so the ball is back on the halfway line with Achiempong, who felt he was pushed over by Semenyo. Not a free kick given, so Semenyo can now run at Chelsea's defence. He's given it to Kluivert. Kluivert, left angle of the penalty area, on his left boot, low ball in, blocked out by Colwill and then cleared by Madueke.
Better by Bournemouth though, asking questions of Chelsea, passing forward at the earliest opportunity.
And that's late by Enzo Fernandez, just catching Ryan Christie, who he primarily had the better of in that first half, those two in midfield.
He did, and Iraola is screaming onto the field, both hands held aloft. And I think it's a simple question to Rob Jones. Why is that not a yellow card when Christie done something very similar in the first half and got punished for it?
So Bournemouth are going to take this free kick. It's about 10 yards inside Chelsea's half. 2 minutes into the second half. Chelsea 1, Bournemouth 0. And after this free kick is completed, I'll give you the teams as Kirkes sent it in. Howson heads it on. Zabani heads it towards goal. And it's wide of Robert Sanchez's left-hand post. So here are the teams. So Chelsea, Sanchez in goal. Caicedo, Achiempong, Colwill and Cucurella. And then Labia and Fernandez. Madueke, the goal scorer Palmer, Sancho and Jackson up top. And Bournemouth, who were forced into a change in the first half because of an injury to their right back James Hill. Lewis Cook is in there now. So Travers in goal, Cook, Howson, Zabani and Kirkes. And then Adams and Christie in midfield. Kluivert, Brooks, Semenyo and Ouattara are Bournemouth's front four. But a point that Glenn Murray was making in the first half about Bournemouth's bench, there is very little from here that this injury hit Bournemouth squad have in terms of experience of any form really on that bench, Glenn.
Yeah, when you look at it, it's I mean, Jebison's only 21, but he's the one that's probably played more at a higher level.
Oh, Lavia barged out of it by Kluivert. Kluivert to the edge of the box, feeds it for Semenyo. Caicedo's gone into him, and it's a Bournemouth penalty. Caicedo's clumsy challenge. He went through the back of Antoine Semenyo, and Robert Jones, the referee, says it's a Bournemouth spot kick.
Yes, it's Lavia who loses it. And as Kluivert just nips in, he's driving towards the 18-yard box. He's got Semenyo to his left-hand side. Caicedo's coming from the wrong side. He's coming behind Semenyo. He tries to dive into the challenge, gets none of the football, gets a lot of the player, and it's an easy decision for the referee. Penalty to Bournemouth.
Wow, Bournemouth, who lived quite dangerously in the first half at Stamford Bridge with multiple Chelsea opportunities that were spurned, and now all of a sudden in front of those Bournemouth away fans in the shed end, that is the end that Bournemouth are attacking in this second half. They have got a big chance in West London to get themselves on level terms here. And the referee is still having conversations, Glenn, with several Chelsea players.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why, because the challenge itself was with 100% a penalty. Caicedo jumps in, gets none of the football at all. It's all Semenyo contacts, sends the Ghanaian tumbling to the floor.
So Justin Kluivert, who scored a hat-trick of penalties only a few weeks ago in a game against Wolverhampton Wanderers, is about to step up to try and get Bournemouth back into the game here at 1-1 against Robert Sanchez, who saved a Bournemouth penalty in the reverse fixture, remember, from Evan Nielsen. Can he do it again? Kluivert, he can't. Kluivert beats him straight down the middle. Sanchez went to his right, and Bournemouth have equalised at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 1, Bournemouth 1.
Yeah, it's a confident penalty from the substitute Kluivert. Couple of little steps into it, hits it hard to his right hand side, high into the top corner. Sanchez dives the wrong way, looks good, wheels away, and he makes a gesture to the Bournemouth supporters to calm down, relax, we've got this.
It's his 8th goal of the season. He is Bournemouth's top scorer, Justin Kluivert, and he looked very calm indeed, didn't he, as he stroked that penalty in with his right foot. It wasn't quite down the middle as I initially thought it was, slightly to the left of centre in terms of the goalkeeper, but it was high and Sanchez had gone anyway. It wasn't going to be a case of him being able to get to it.
No, it was a really good assured penalty by Justin Kluivert, and Bournemouth scored 31 goals and 11 have come from substitutes, and we mentioned that impact from the bench. Well, it's happened again for Iraola.
Well, there's something about Bournemouth all of a sudden in this second half. That's Caicedo and Lavia who came together to take out Justin Kluivert. It's a yellow card for Lavia, who must have been the one that made contact there. They look a bit flustered here, Chelsea. This has got Fulham and Boxing Day. We mentioned it at the end of the first half. It feels a bit familiar all of a sudden.
Well, they're that flustered. They're making a defensive change, and it looks like Reece James is coming on very, very early on in the second half. But Bournemouth just have a different energy about them. They're wanting to press like we expect, like we're used to Iraola's team, high pressing, lots of energy, and they've come out in this second half and they've done that. Whatever the manager said at half time, he's certainly working, and all of a sudden momentum swung in Bournemouth's way.
So Chelsea 1, Bournemouth 1. Bournemouth free kick, Kirkes with it, out comes Sanchez, claims it about 5 yards inside his box, and off the ball Cucurella has gone down. He's rolling around the Chelsea defender and he's holding his face here. What happened there, Glenn?
Oh, I actually think I thought it was dramatic, but when I get a look back, he's trying to run past Brooks, and I'm not sure if Brooks kind of catches his cheek or pulls his hair as Cucurella's getting into full flight, but he definitely makes a gesture with his left hand across the Chelsea man, and right away he falls to the ground clutching his face, and there's a decision to be made here.
Well, we're going to get another look at this here. Yeah, it's Brooks's left arm, isn't it, that almost poleaxes Cucurella across the neck as he tries to race forward to start a quick Chelsea attack.
And there's obviously history between the two of them. Cucurella checked David Brooks in the first half, and this time, he does.
He's in trouble,
It's almost like what you'd refer to as a clothesline.
Yeah, the referee has made the indication that he's going to go to the screen here. David Brooks is looking concerned, and Bournemouth might find themselves down to 10 men here. If David Brooks gets sent off, this is so foolish, having got themselves back into the game with that equaliser from the spot from Justin Kluivert. But now Robert Jones is going over to have a look at the screen, and there is a feeling from a Bournemouth perspective that this might see them reduced to 10 men. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a tiny monitor here, but it is a clothesline. It's kind of a forearm smash to the face of Cucurella. He knows exactly what he's doing, Brooks, and I can see the referee making a decision here to send him off, because that's unacceptable behaviour from David Brooks. Like I said, there was history from the first half, and I think the opportunity to get Cucurella back from that has just been a little bit too much for the Bournemouth man as we wait on Rob Jones's decision, who takes his time over at the monitor there. He's having a really good look at this one. There's no real close-up on it, is there?
No, there's only really one angle that he can look at here, Robert Jones. They're trying to find another one for him, which is one that is a high, almost like a roof cam looking down, just to give Robert Jones a second view of this. But he's taking a long time to make his decision. He's now turning around to talk to some of the players, and he has decided, it seems, that there is no offence to be found.
I think it's a yellow card. I think he's got a yellow card out.
Well, that's interesting. What do you make of that, Glenn? Is David Brooks fortunate, or is that based on lack of evidence?
I think possibly a lack of evidence. Obviously, we've got a really small monitor, and we were watching his monitor kind of thing from a really bad angle. But I think that David Brooks is lucky to be still on the field of play. I thought originally when Cucurella went down, he was being dramatic. I was at the Southampton game a couple of weeks ago when he got his hair tugged, he went down, and the Southampton defender got sent off for that, and I thought it was a very, very similar situation. This time, Cucurella was really moving. Brooks clotheslines him as he goes past, and I think David Brooks is fortunate to still be on the football field. So
it's a yellow card for David Brooks. Chelsea have gone ahead with that change. We haven't restarted play yet. Cucurella is saying something himself to referee Robert Jones. So Reece James is on. It's Romeo Lavia who has gone off. Reece James, who is getting the chance of he's one of our own, having made his return against Morecambe at the weekend in the FA Cup. Got 45 minutes of football.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a brilliant player in Reece James. They've just got to try and keep him fit, nurse him back to fitness. It's about longevity for him. They want to see him fit for a long time rather than these short bursts that we're becoming quite used to. But I know from playing, it'll be more frustrating for him than anyone else at Chelsea Football Club. He'll be desperate to play more minutes, and if they can get him on the field, it'll make a real difference for them.
Only 4 Premier League appearances last season, Reece James. He's had this litany of hamstring issues. As Achiampong, the young centre-half, gives it to Chesea, whose touch was very neat. It wasn't the easiest ball to control, and then flying in for the challenge on Cucurella is Housen, and out it goes for a Chelsea throw, far left-hand side, 15 yards inside their own half. Glenn Murray.
But the difference between Bournemouth's press in the second half compared to the first is just uncomparable. They're high, they're quick, they believe in it, they're being brave with it, and it's thrown a real different light on this game.
Remember, there are 3 points in the Premier League table between these two teams, Chelsea and Bournemouth. Chelsea on 36, Bournemouth on 33 ahead of the start of the evening. 12 minutes into the second half here. And it's Chelsea 1, Bournemouth 1, and this is Cucurella, involved in that incident with David Brooks a moment ago. Gives it to Enzo Fernandez, who is working to pinch it back, and then the shot from Jackson. Oh wow, Travers has let that go underneath him. It nearly beat him, Mark Travers. That was very fortunate indeed. It was actually Caicedo, I think. No, it was Jackson who had the shot, and Travers has, well, he's got away with one.
Yeah, it was a tackle from Fernandez, and just falls kindly for Nicholas Jackson to hit it first time across the goalkeeper, and it nearly squirms under him. He gets just enough on it.
That horrible moment, Mark Travers, where he turned and he looked at the ball and was desperate for it not to drop in. Here comes the Chelsea corner, in by Palmer, headed away by Ouattara, who actually is very, very good in the air. He's one of Bournemouth's best headers of the ball. Chelsea throw from the right, which Palmer takes to Enzo Fernandez, gives it to Reece James, back with Enzo Fernandez, and then return to Reece James again with those broad shoulders, the Chelsea man who's just come on. And Robert Sanchez is trying to say, give me the ball, I'll start the attack from back here, and that's what Reece James decides to do. Chelsea 1, Bournemouth 1 at Stamford Bridge. But this sort of pressure from Bournemouth, the high press, the intensity, this ultimately is what Andoni Iraola's team are all about, so it was strange not to see it in play too much in the first half.
Yeah, I think just not having that number 9 on the field just threw it out of kilter a little bit, maybe lost a little bit of confidence. There's just a challenge there that the Chelsea players and fans aren't happy about.
Help them out, fourth official is the instruction from one member of the crowd near us. You might have picked that up. Out of play it goes from Travers, the Bournemouth goalkeeper, on the halfway line, taken quickly by Chelsea to Enzo Fernandez. Infield for Caicedo, who's 35 yards from goal. Now Palmer, who scored the Chelsea goal in the first half, to the right-hand side for Madueke. Madueke into the box, past Kirkes, the pullback, deflects to Cucurella, who smashes it way over the top of the crossbar.
Falls to the wrong man from a Chelsea perspective. Madueke just drifts past Kirkes. Gets to the byline, cuts it back with his right foot. It's deflected into Cucurella's path. About 16 yards from goal, falls on his right foot, his weaker foot, and he howks it over the top of the bar.
To get a couple of goals in the last month, the month of December. Marc Cucurella scored against Brentford here and against Shamrock Rovers as well in the UEFA Conference League. 1-1 between Chelsea and Bournemouth. Justin Kluivert off the bench, he's got the penalty and he's got the ball now, and he's chipped it out to the right hand side for Brooks. Brooks with the back heel, in comes the cross, deflected behind from Cook's delivery, and Bournemouth have a corner. Glenn Murray.
Yeah, good play by Bournemouth. Kluivert sweeping it out to Brooks, and that willing runner, that centre midfielder playing at right back, Cook making that overlapping run. Brooks gives him it, tries to find his striker, goes out for a corner, but good play by Bournemouth.
Feeling far more purposeful, Bournemouth, in this second half than they were the first. Just gone beyond the hour at Stamford Bridge, and David Brooks stands over this Bournemouth corner from the opposite side to us, the far right. You can tell there's no wind in the stadium because the little blue corner flag is lying very limply on the white stick next to David Brooks as he waits to take this corner. And the reason he's waiting is because there's more conversations that Robert Jones, the referee, needs to have with some Chelsea players inside the penalty area.
Yeah, it's tetchy, isn't it, in the penalty area? There's a lot of coming together, a lot of contact. Rob Jones isn't happy at the moment. He wants a word with Moises Caicedo. I'm not sure why, but this game is in the balance right now. It's poised from a neutral point of view perfectly.
And it really, when the players went in at half-time half an hour ago, it just didn't feel like this was going to be the case, but Bournemouth have found a second wind here. They're the ones with a corner. Brooks has taken it short, little 1-2, he's got it again, David Brooks, then he's got it back off Cook. Brooks shoots, saved by Sanchez. That was nearly another classically worked Bournemouth set piece. Robert Sanchez blocking it at the end of it all.
Well, it was wonderful. Brooks, a 1-2 in the corner flag, another 1-2 on the edge of box with Cook, and all of a sudden he's in on goal. He hit it across his right foot. Rob Sanchez is equal to it. Really bright play for Bournemouth. And unfortunately for Chelsea, they've got a centre-back down. It's Levi Colwill. They've one position where they're short at the minute.
Yeah, I don't quite know what happened to Levi Colwill, whether he looks like maybe he got his foot, Glenn, caught in the turf as he went to block that effort from David Brooks, or his knee maybe.
Yeah, he goes to block Brooks' shot with his left foot, and it seems like he just gets caught in the turf a little bit. I mean, it's an awkward kind of movement for his, I think it's his knee, and it doesn't look very good here. Levi Colwill's down.
Just looking down at the Chelsea bench ahead of us, because obviously we have the luxury of being able to see firsthand all the activity that's happening on the two benches, given our proximity in our commentary position tonight. There are a couple of Chelsea players that are going out to warm up here, but the medical staff are on the pitch and they are tending to Levi Colwill, who's on his feet, and he's just testing how much flexibility he's got in that leg, it seems, Glenn.
Yeah, good to see him on his feet. He's just hobbling off the field of play now, but it looks like, hopefully for Levi Colwill and hopefully for Chelsea, it's just a small kind of awkward movement. He'll be able to run it off, get back on the field of play, but he does look very ginger as he heads round to the corner flag.
So Levi Colwill off the pitch at the moment, and Bournemouth with a throw, far right hand side. 1-1 the scoreline at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea against Bournemouth, and it's probably about 10 yards back from the corner flag, this Bournemouth throw, as Levi Colwill is waiting and hoping that he's going to be able to come back on here. Brooks has taken the ball, then the cross in from the right hand side, and it's claimed by Robert Sanchez at his near post. He doesn't look great, does he, Levi Colwill? You've got to say that, Glenn.
No, he's still not re-entered the field of play, and he's still kind of skipping up and down the side, but very much with a limp. He's going to re-enter the field of play in a second, but he's down on his haunches. Just saw one for the Chelsea centre-back.
And they're still down to 10 men at the moment. Bournemouth trying to capitalise on that. Justin Kluivert looking to squeeze it through for Ouattara. That was repelled. And now Chelsea bounce forward with Enzo Fernandez from the centre of the park. Ball forward down the right-hand side for Madueke. 3 in the box, now 4. But Madueke's still got the ball at his feet. And he's got the corner eventually. It's a good bit of defending actually by Zabani, who wasn't going to be fooled by Madueke's step-overs.
Yeah, Zabani stood up well there, didn't he? He wasn't going to go for any of Madueke's feints, but good play by Enzo Fernandez, breaking through the midfield, feeding his wide forward, putting Bournemouth on the back foot.
Elia Zabani, the only Bournemouth player that's played in every single Premier League minute for them this season. So a corner, 20 minutes into the second half, 1-1. Palmer with it short, then gets it back and delivers it up towards that far post. Header won initially by Jackson, cleared away up to the halfway line where Reece James is there. Levi Colwill is now back on the pitch for Chelsea, their centre half, but as he's moving back into position, he didn't look like he was moving with a great deal of freedom. He's got the ball at his feet here, and he's just played that pass a little astray of Nicholas Jackson, which has allowed Bournemouth to regain possession and go back to their keeper Travers.
Yeah, he looked fine in possession there, but as he just makes his way back to centre back, still got that limp. I'll be hoping that he can run this slight injury off, because what he does is he gives Chelsea's backline a really good balance, having a left-footed left centre back.
He started all but one of their Premier League games, Levi Colwill, and given how much this Chelsea team has chopped and changed under Enzo Maresca, that shows you just how valued he is by his Italian manager.
Yeah, well, I think that whole left of defence, Colwill and Cucurella, they seem to have a good relationship. Obviously played a season together at Brighton as well, so that was very much flourished down on the south coast, but continues to do well up here in central London.
Bournemouth coming at Chelsea down the right-hand side now with Justin Kluivert, who's very speedy as he takes a couple of step-overs, then he loses his balance. The Dutchman, son of course of Patrick Kluivert, and Chelsea bring it forward. And Enzo Fernandez on for Palmer, was sort of hoping that Madueke was a bit closer to him than he was. So his pass ended up looking like it wasn't a great one, because Kirkes intercepts it.
Yeah, and right away, Bournemouth bounce out. Zabani gets on the half-turn, feeds Kirkes, and he's down this left-hand side. So much more impetus to Bournemouth's play already in this second half. They look super dangerous going forward.
Ouattara outside the penalty area on the left-hand side, low ball in, doesn't quite come to Semenyo. Stopped by Josh Achiempong, and then Reece James clips it down the line. Madueke can't control it, and it's going to be a Bournemouth throw.
And it looks like Tosin's going to come on for Colwill. Not quite right, the Chelsea centre-back.
Semenyo! What a hit that is from Antoine Semenyo! He's beaten Robert Sanchez high to his right-hand side from an angle where it didn't look like he could squeeze it in. And Bournemouth have come from behind, and it's now Chelsea 1, Bournemouth 2. Antoine Semenyo's goal.
Well, Semenyo picks the ball up on the edge of the 18-yard box. He's on the left-hand side. It's on his right foot. He feints, takes it into the box, hits it from underneath himself with his left foot, and he just raises. And it's a shot that seems to gain power the higher it goes, and it sneaks into Rob Sanchez's near post, clips the post and into the back of the net. Semenyo runs over to the Bournemouth supporters, celebrating in front of them. A huge goal from Antoine Semenyo for Bournemouth. 2-1.
And Glenn, what a season he's having as well. His goals, his impact in games. He really has been one of the players of this Premier League season that has quietly gone under the radar, but is delivering week on week.
He has. Well, let me tell you, all the Premier League might not know about him, but all the Bournemouth fans do. He's held in such high regard down on the south coast. But do you know what? It's a rule, isn't it? It's an unwritten rule in commentary to be quiet when they're around the 18-yard box. And usually I adhere to that rule, but I felt as though he had no opportunity to even get a shot away from where he was.
Here's Chelsea with a chance. It's Jackson, great block, Housen. got over there, made a sliding challenge, and actually the ball bounced back off Nicholas Jackson and might have gone behind for a goal kick at the end of all of that.
Yeah, well, like I was saying, usually a co-commentator shuts up around 18-yard box, but Semenyo made something of absolutely nothing there, didn't he? What a wonderful finish, and the way it comes off his left boot, it was so quick. It doesn't really give Rob Sanchez much chance. You should never get beat at your near post, but on that occasion you can understand why.
So we have a real story developing at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 1, Bournemouth 2, and we are moving into the final 20 minutes of the game.
Well, I mean, you looked at the first half and you just couldn't see where Bournemouth were even going to summon up any opportunities, and they come out in the second half, and I'm not sure what Andoni Iraola said to his men, but he's inspired them without any doubt. I mean, when you look at the stats, Chelsea have had 18 shots to Bournemouth 5. That tells the story, but all in all, Chelsea extremely wasteful.
Chelsea 1, Bournemouth 2. Manchester City have gone 1-0 up at Brentford. Phil Foden has scored the goal there. I think I'm right in saying he scored a hat-trick against Brentford last season, Phil Foden. And it's West Ham 3, Fulham 1. Alex Iwobi did get one back for Fulham, but Lucas Paquetá has since put the hammers in front there. But we are in for a really absorbing final 20 minutes in London, with Chelsea now trying to get themselves back into the game, back level again, as Caicedo floats one out to the left-hand side. It's wide of Sancho. It's a Bournemouth throw, and we're going to see a Chelsea change. It's not Levi Colwill coming off. It's Achiempong, his fellow centre-half, who's been the man who's been taken off by Maresca for Tosin here.
Well, that was one of the biggest surprises I've had all night, as 34 came up on the board, and as Achiempong's jogging off towards us, in the background I can still see number 6 Levi Colwill limping around the football field. Strange one.
So Enzo Maresca decided maybe he just needs a bit more experience in that Chelsea defence in these closing stages. And Chelsea, who were 10 points behind Liverpool in the Premier League table at the start of the evening, right now are not going to be making up any ground, even if Liverpool are beaten by Nottingham Forest tonight at the City Ground. That game's on 5 live commentary tonight. And
I think it speaks volumes of how the second half's gone when you look at Maresca's changes. 2 defensive changes, Reece James on and Tosin on.
And Palmer in possession for Chelsea, up to the edge of the area with his back to goal is Jackson, returns it to Palmer, trying to bounce between a couple of Bournemouth challenges. He's teed it off for Caicedo, then further to the left hand side is Cucurella, and on that wide left is Sancho, the widest of all, Jadon Sancho, former Manchester United player. Nearly located Palmer in the box with his pass, but Bournemouth's structure in this second half, Glenn, to be fair to them, has been excellent. Yeah, it has, without any doubt. They've been much braver in their press and therefore been winning the ball higher up, and then they can hurt Chelsea. Reece James winning it off Antoine Semenyo, then given away by Caicedo. Left by Semenyo. Kirkes is going to race for it, and winning the challenge was Levi Colwill sliding in. But Bournemouth aren't going to take this throw quickly because they recognise that one of their own, Dango Ouattara, needs some treatment here. Bournemouth forward is on his back, rolling from side to side. So it's going to be a Bournemouth throw, but not, I think, before the medical staff come on. No, and when I get a look, expected goals, Chelsea have double Bournemouth's expected goal count, and that's because largely of their misfiring forward. Nicholas Jackson's had 2 or 3 really good opportunities in this game, not been able to find the back of the net, and obviously when we look over the second half, that's been action-packed. There's one contentious moment that I'm sure Maresca will bring up after the game, and that's Brooks. Should he still be on the field of play? Yeah, that's that clothesline on Marc Cucurella, as it appeared at least, warranted a yellow card from Robert Jones, and not a red, despite going over to look at the screen, having been advised to do that by the VAR Graham Scott tonight. So that'll be a Chelsea talking point, as Glenn Murray says. Chelsea 1, Bournemouth 2 is the scoreline at Stamford Bridge, and Chelsea with the ball inside their own box with Robert Sanchez. Sent it upfield to Madueke, who comes short. He's got Kirkes, who is hassling and harassing him on this right wing. He's really stepped up this season, the young Hungarian Milos Kerkez, in that left-back role.
Yeah, he's been another success story down at Bournemouth. What I like about him, always willing to get forward as quick as possible, and when he does get there, he delivers real quality into the box.
Actually born in Serbia, in the town of Verbas, but is a Hungarian international, Milos Kerkez. He's got the yellow ball in his hands at the moment ahead of this Bournemouth throw on this left-hand side. 15 minutes to go. Chelsea 1, Bournemouth 2. And if you are just joining us here on 5 Live Sports Extra and on BBC Sounds, Chelsea in front through Cole Palmer's goal in the first half. 1-0 up at half-time, but trailing now because of goals from Kluivert from the penalty spot and Antoine Semenyo as Kluivert chips one forward. Tosin's clearance was a bit short. Caicedo was very assured in his challenge, and then Cole Palmer shows too much of it to Tyler Adams, so Bournemouth get it back again on the halfway line with Zabani.
Yeah, good play by Bournemouth. Chelsea really pressing them, good control, but now it's at Rob Sanchez's feet.
They are on their longest winless run in 17 months in the Premier League, Chelsea, as Housen wins his duel with Nicholas Jackson inside Bournemouth's half. Jackson gives it to Cucurella from the throw, and now Jadon Sancho dancing his way into the box. It's brilliant from Sancho, and he ran out of room in the end, and Bournemouth hack it clear.
Yeah, and I think the frustrating thing from a Chelsea point of view is they shouldn't be behind in this game. They should have full control of this game, but they've left it in the balance too long.
Here's Sancho, he's in the box again, cuts it back. Enzo Fernandez drives it towards goal. Housen, who's having an influence of real certainty for Bournemouth in this second half with another block, and it's a Chelsea throw on the left hand side, but clearly they're not in a position anymore where they can hang around. 14 minutes to go plus stoppage time, as Tosin is forced under pressure by Semenyo to go all the way back to Robert Sanchez and nearly gets caught out by Antoine Semenyo, who isn't going to let him go, and now Sanchez is going to get run down by Ouattara, and he's managed to play the pass up to Palmer. Good bit of goalkeeping in the end from him. Christie in the end with a foul on Palmer. Free kick Chelsea. Chelsea 1, Bournemouth 2. Glenn Murray.
Yeah, it's all goal here at Chelsea. Chelsea trying to get back in the game.
Enzo Fernandez into the box. Jackson shoots, Travers spills, but he's able to get up again, the Bournemouth goalkeeper, and plunge on it at the second opportunity.
Well, there's been a couple of moments where Chelsea have got shots on target, and Mark Travers has not looked very assured in his handling. Couple have nearly slipped under him. Even that one there, skipping away from, there's no real power on the shot, can't keep hold of it. Just wonder, Chelsea keep asking questions. A couple of times they put it in the box, he's misjudged his punches. Might not be the Bournemouth goalkeeper's night.
Enzo Fernandez giving the ball away in midfield. He's not done that too often tonight, and it's on the far right hand side at the moment with David Brooks. Now Lewis Cook moves it infield for Dango Ouattara, who's come short to retrieve it, and now spreads it to the left wing for Antoine Semenyo, one of Bournemouth's goal scorers there. 2-1 up here on Chelsea. It's short by Semenyo to Kluivert. Kerkez has made a little run. Kluivert wants to use him, and eventually when he decides to use him, the ball isn't quite right, and there's a disagreement between those two. Chelsea goal kick.
There is indeed, because Kluivert did the hard work. He committed defenders. He just needs to get the weight of the ball right. Plays it to his left hand side. Just has too much on the pass, and Kerkez shows his frustration because he knows they were in a position of authority there.
Glenn Murray, former Premier League striker, with us tonight on 5 Live Sports Extra and BBC Sounds. Remember, you can download the BBC Sounds app. You can take us with you wherever you go. You can listen to live commentaries on the move, and you can replay any goals you want to as well. You can just spin back through and hear the big moments again across the night. I'll give you the scores from elsewhere in the Premier League in just a moment, with Bournemouth 2-1 up here on Chelsea and in possession with Tyler Adams, and now with Milos Kerkez, and back to the halfway line for Zabani.
Yeah, I'm just looking just down below us, and it looks like there's movement on the Chelsea bench. This is the roll of the dice. This is the attacking players. Enzo Maresca's going to bring on João Felix, Pedro Neto getting ready as we speak.
This is Brooks, right hand angle of the box. Cucurella again getting involved in a little coming together with him. Those two have been at each other all night, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. Cucurella sees a chance to bowl Brooks over there.
And then when the pass is played forward, Noni Madueke is offside, and he looks irritated by that. Enzo Maresca uses it as an opportunity to step forward and give some instructions to his young winger.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of unsettledness around Stamford Bridge now, a little bit of unhappiness, and I can well understand it, the frustration the fans must feel with this group of players, because they're so talented, just need consistency. First 45 minutes they were superb, second they've not really turned up.
Man City are 2-0 up at Brentford. Phil Foden's got another. Talk about the fact he scored a hat-trick there last season, he might do it again tonight, you know. And it's now West Ham 3, Fulham 2. Alex Iwobi's also got a double tonight for Fulham. And it's still, even though it was an 8 o'clock kick-off, so we are in about 10 minutes into the second half at the City ground. Nottingham Forest 1, Liverpool 0. Chris Wood with the early goal. That's the leaders Liverpool. That's Nottingham Forest trying to close the gap to 3 points on Liverpool this evening at the top of the table. And if they weren't in the title race, they will be if they win that tonight.
And all of a sudden the title race is wide open if it stays like that.
So Chelsea waiting to make their changes as Cook wins the ball back for Bournemouth on the edge of his own penalty area, gives it to Brooks. Brooks forward to Ouattara. Brooks has been hurt from that challenge, and the referee has given Bournemouth a free kick. So Brooks is going to be spoken to by the referee just to ask whether he needs some further assistance. He doesn't, so Chelsea are going to make those changes. Joao Felix and Pedro Neto, the two players to come on. Pedro Neto just giving himself one final stretch out with his hands up round the back of his head. Moises Caicedo, the first to depart for Chelsea, and the other making way is Noni Madueke.
And this is it now. This is Enzo Maresca's roll of the dice. Can these two players hit some form, try and get his team back in this game? I do feel as though there's almost a shell-shockedness about Chelsea. They can't believe the difference between the first half and the second half. But it's credit to Andoni Iraola's man. They've been superb in this second half. They showed real character. Would have been easy to go under after their first half display. They weren't quite at the races. Second half they've been absolutely exceptional as they look like they're going to make a change, and it's what we were speaking about earlier. That platform up front, Jebison, who's a real big boy, he's about 6'6". As I look down there, he's dwarfing everyone on the side of the pitch.
Yeah, Daniel Jebison, who was on loan with Watford in the first half of the season but has been recalled by Bournemouth because of their injury issues, most notably to their strikers Evan Nielsen and Enes Anau, and he is about to come on for another Bournemouth appearance here. But Bournemouth have got the ball on the far right hand side with Zabani, but he's running out of play, so it's going to be a Chelsea throw, and now Bournemouth are going to make that change, and David Brooks is the one who is coming off here, but he's coming off as a substitute, Glenn, rather than for any other reasons.
Yeah, there's a few boos around Stamford Bridge. He applauds the away fans, but after this game that will be a talking point without any doubt. That was a flashpoint as far as the referee was concerned, but stayed on the field of play. Bournemouth kept 11 on, and now what a wonderful opportunity for Jebison as a number 9, just occupies those two centre halves, be a platform, hold it up, and then look what he's got around him to feed him, to create chances for Ouattara, Kluivert, Semenyo. It's the stuff of dreams.
Yeah, he came off the bench, Daniel Jebison, in Bournemouth's first 2 Premier League fixtures of the season, and then went out on loan to Watford, but he's come back here now, formerly of Sheffield United, of course. Actually Sheffield United's youngest Premier League goal scorer in 2021, as Bournemouth's ball into the box is out of the reach of that man Jebison, and Reece James's clearance. Neto is out-fought by Kirkes, but then a loose touch by Tyler Adams, and Cole Palmer can run away from him. Adams is struggling to keep up with him. Palmer's carried it about 60 yards down this right-hand side, onto his left foot, curled up to the far post. Difficult one for Joao Felix. Bounces off his left foot because it was coming over his head, and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, really difficult for Joao Felix to be able to bring that ball under control as it drifts over his foot. He kind of dangles the left foot out, controls the wrong direction, goes out for a by kick, and Chelsea just can't seem to get any momentum in this game, can't seem to string a few passes together.
trailing Bournemouth by 2-1 are Chelsea, so it is the same scoreline from their last Premier League home game here against Fulham. 2-1 as it was then. Those goals were late from Fulham to spin the game around in that West London derby. And it's the team from Dorset here who are causing problems tonight in the capital for Chelsea. And Lewis Cook, the most experienced member in terms of Bournemouth appearances, is on the ball on the right hand side. Wataru running at Cucurella, sent the ball a bit too far ahead of him, and then Cucurella's clearance is poor and it's dropped to Jefferson. Jefferson's teed it up, Kluivert shoots, it's blocked, it's a corner. It was Tosin who just got in the way in time, otherwise Kluivert might have been sending that into the corner and sending Bournemouth home with 3 points.
It was Atara's challenge that eventually gets the ball. And he cuts it back to Jefferson, who I think needs to have a shot, but you can see he's a striker that hasn't played very much. Then plays it into Kluivert's path and it falls on his left foot. It's under his feet a little bit. He digs it out on target. The Chelsea player gets in the way and it's a corner to to Bournemouth, sorry.
Well, that really was a big chance, and to be fair to Tosin, it was a big bit of defending as well.
He was always willing to put those long limbs on the line, makes himself extremely big as he stretches out there, and it's actually his trailing leg that blocks that ball from Kluivert.
Bournemouth corner, in by Christie, caught by Robert Sanchez. Jefferson was right there in front of him, but Sanchez got there and he's bowled it out quickly, and Chelsea stream forward with Nicholas Jackson, Palmer to his left. He's got Sancho in the middle, and the cross from Palmer was a poor one. And Mark Travers at his near post just falls on top of the ball and slows it all down again for Bournemouth. Yeah,
definitely game management from a Bournemouth perspective, just trying to take the sting out of the game. Because when Chelsea do counter-attack, they counter-attack with such pace and power. Just can't seem to be able to unlock this this Bournemouth defence at the moment, though.
They've got 4 minutes, Chelsea, plus stoppage time to avoid another home defeat here. Here is the slightly gangly frame of Jefferson, giving it to Kluivert, and on the right wing is Ouattara, edge of the box, thinks about shooting with his left foot, showed too much of it to Cucurella in the end.
Yeah, Cucurella defended well, hasn't he?
Joao Felix has got the free kick for Chelsea, but he's irritated that there was no advantage, because actually he'd manipulated it away from 2 Bournemouth players there.
Yeah, a bit of frustration there from Joao Felix, but just looking at Maresca, hands in his pockets.
Now, is there a problem here for Howson? He's just pulled down Nicholas Jackson. Long ball over the top. Jackson was chasing it. Howson's put his hands on the Senegalese forward, and it is going to be a yellow card for the young Dean Howson here.
I think that's the right decision from the referee. The Stamford Bridge crowd were expecting a little bit more. There was a recovering defender. Zabani's right next to him as well. Howson is what you call taking one for the team there, not letting Nicholas Jackson get in behind. Even though the ball was curling away from goal, it wasn't going to be a direct goal scoring opportunity.
So we're booking for the Spanish under-21 international, Dean Howson, and it's a Chelsea free kick inside the last 3 minutes at Stamford Bridge, which sort of has that slight sense where the noise has dropped off from the home supporters, because they are fearing that they're watching their team slip perhaps to another home defeat here in the Premier League.
Yeah, definitely, and I think if anything it's the manner that it's happened. Consistency at Chelsea is key at the moment.
Is there a little special spark coming from somebody here? Chelsea free kick, Palmer over it, left-footed, Tosin's header, it was heading in. Travers leaping up to his left-hand side, flicks it over the crossbar for a corner.
Yeah, it's a good save as well. Tosin dominant in the air there, rises above everyone, heads it towards goal, and Travers sees the fly, reads it right into the top corner and dives across, and I think he actually gets cramp when he falls over, which is completely unacceptable for a goalkeeper to get.
I was going to say, I do not remember any occasion seeing a goalkeeper get a bit of cramp.
He's stretching his calf off.
And also, by the way, if he was going to get cramp, it would have happened in the first half, because that's when he was busy. He's not had a great deal to do, the Irishman, in this second period. He's okay now. The cramp has mysteriously disappeared.
That did tickle me.
You too, Glenn. Chelsea corner from the right in front of the Matthew Harding stand, and Chelsea need to find something here. because any lingering talk of them being able to haul themselves back into the title race, well, that will completely disappear, you sense, if they lose this one. Corner from the right hand side, Neto's delivery, goalkeeper wasn't sure about coming, the clearance away, Enzo Fernandez has missed it on the edge of the box, Kluivert met the bounce a bit better, he's forced it forward towards Cook, who looks offside to me. Yeah, the flag's gone up against Lewis Cook. It's going to be a Chelsea free kick.
Yeah, good decision. This game is really open now, isn't it? It's end to end.
Glenn, what have they done differently apart from intensity, Bournemouth, in this second half?
I think everything's come from that intensity, that confidence in the press, and all of a sudden when you win the ball up higher, Chelsea are more disjointed, and then off the back of that you've got willing runners forward, as we used to see in Bournemouth. It was such a off Bournemouth display in the first half. This has looked much more like an Andoni Iraola side in the second half.
Chelsea 1-0 up at half-time through Cole Palmer's goal, but Justin Kluivert with a penalty conceded by Moises Caicedo, and Antoine Semenyo at the moment is going to be the Bournemouth match winner unless there is a late twist in this game. Brentford have got one back against Manchester City. Brentford 1, Man City 2. Johan Wissa with the goal. Forest are still leading Liverpool 1-0. That's live on 5 Live right now, and it remains West Ham 3, Fulham 2.
I do feel for Bournemouth because I'm looking at the live table, and if they can hold on to this lead, I think they would have went up to 4th before games kicked off. They're winning this game and they only move up 1 position to 6th because Manchester City are winning, and obviously Nottingham Forest are as well.
Reece James shoulder barged by Kluivert. It was a fair challenge though, according to the referee, and Bournemouth, with Chelsea having committed bodies forward, might be able to catch them on the counter-attack here. Semenyo, left-footed ball into the box, blocked by Tosin, and Kirkes, who wants the ball to bounce behind for a corner, but it's not going to bounce out of play. But Tosin's kicked through the back of him. That was unnecessary, and it's a free kick to Bournemouth.
Yeah, and Tosin's walking a thin line because he's wagging a finger at the referee, but he does kick right through Kirkes. Kirkes protects the ball. The big Chelsea centre-half just chops him down. But that's the first time Bournemouth have lacked intensity going towards their 18-yard box. Semenyo just kind of meandered in, didn't really commit anything, just wanted to take the sting out of the game.
So we're in stoppage time. There's 8 minutes of stoppage time that have been added on at Stamford Bridge. So this game has still got some length to it, you sense. Bournemouth have taken the free kick short. Semenyo has played it into the box looking for Tyler Adams. Pushed out the way by Joao Felix, and Colwill tries to get Chelsea moving.
And I suppose when you look at this group of Chelsea potential and talent, these are the moments they lack and areas they lack. Just that little bit of experience in moments like this. No one to really guide them. They've really lost their way in this second half.
And they've got some space again here, Bournemouth. Kluivert shoots from distance. He tried almost like a knuckle-esque effort towards goal, which has gone over the top of Robert Sanchez's crossbar by about 2 or 3 yards in the end from the edge of the box.
Indeed, as he set up to that, it looked dangerous as he's moving through the air, but like you say, just gathered momentum and gathered height as it sweeps over the top of Sanchez's bar.
Chelsea looking direct now towards Jackson. Was there a push on Zabani? No, says the referee. So Jackson's given it to Joao Felix, who shoots, and Travers to his left-hand side saves. That was a relatively good height for the Irishman. Chelsea have got it again with Nicholas Jackson. Jackson for Fernandez. Fernandez on for Cucurella, and throwing himself in the way of that one, the sliding Burkina Faso international Dango Ouattara.
Yeah, all hands to the pump at the back of Bournemouth. There's Chelsea just stringing a few passes together, but now it's Bournemouth on the counter-attack.
And Jefferson wants the ball in that right channel, but it isn't a good one from a tired Dango Ouattara who's leaning forward. It feels like he and many of his teammates have given absolutely everything tonight. We're 3 minutes into the 8 of stoppage time, and it is still Chelsea 1, Bournemouth 2. But here's Joao Felix for Chelsea, chops it away from Zabani. He's hacked at by Christie, and it's going to be a free kick, and Ryan Christie could be in a spot of bother here.
They're already on a yellow card, but looking, there was a coming together in the box as Jackson falls over House, and actually don't think there's anything. There's bodies flying everywhere. Rob Jones actually give a free kick on the edge of the box, and Christie, already in a yellow, seems like he's gonna get away with it, but Chelsea have a free kick in an extremely dangerous situation.
I've got to say this, Glenn, I cannot believe Ryan Christie hasn't received a yellow card for that challenge. You don't want yellow cards to be dished out all the time, but he's cleaned out Joao Felix after the ball's been played.
Well, I feel as though the first one was a really soft yellow, and hopefully that's played into the referee's mind, because you don't want to see people getting dismissed.
No.
In all honesty.
So Chelsea free kick, and this is in a very, very interesting position for them.
And Reece James is on it.
Yeah, he's there. Cole Palmer's there as well. Pedro Neto has been ordered away. We are moving into the 5th minute of stoppage time. 8 added on at Stamford Bridge.
And it's a really tall wall, isn't it? It's hard to get it up and over because it's only about 23 yards out. So to be able to get it up and over, it's going to be difficult.
Here we go then. It's James. He scores! Reece James crashes it into the corner. Chelsea equalise in the 95th minute, and there will not be a more popular goal scorer in West London than Reece James, back from injury and delivering a set piece which is dreamy, and it's Chelsea 2, Bournemouth 2, right at the end.
Well, I said it was hard to get it up and over that wall. He decides to not even try. He goes the goalkeeper's side and he beats Travers with pace, power and a little bit of swerve. He just kisses the post as it swings into that bottom corner. But all night I've said about Travers, all night on the right hand side, the wall's protecting the goal. His job is to protect the left hand side. He takes one slight step and it spins into his corner, the corner he's protecting. You've got to ask questions of the Bournemouth goalkeeper.
Reece James's last Chelsea goal prior to that one, August 2022, when he scored here, ironically in a 2-2 draw against Tottenham Hotspur, and 2-2 is the score now.
And I feel sorry for him actually, because it was kind of one of those where he didn't get to celebrate. It was just run back, let's try and get play going and see if we can win the game.
I'll tell you what though, everybody else of a blue persuasion in here was celebrating. So 2-2, and Bournemouth have got the ball again deep inside Chelsea's half on the left, but Kirkes has run himself into trouble. Listen to Stamford Bridge, Chelsea think they can win this, but Neto's given it away. Loose pass to Jackson, Bournemouth throw on the halfway line.
Yeah, it just takes the sting out of it. Bournemouth thought they were going to counter-attack. The whole of Stamford Bridge are on their feet. They feel like they could win this in extra time.
And we're going to have, 2 more minutes of stoppage time on top of the 6 that we've already had. Kirkes with the Bournemouth throw, left-hand side on the halfway line. Cleared away by tossing over his head as he did so. Flicked on by Joao Felix, missed by Palmer. And then Kirkes and Pedro Neto having a good old battle for the ball. Neto has slammed the ball into the chest of Kirkes and said, get on with this throw, please.
2 fiery characters there, weren't they, going head to head. Those sparks flying as they were touching one another.
It's been a really good Premier League game. Chelsea 2, Bournemouth 2. Last couple of minutes, Semenyo running into the Chelsea penalty area, left-hand side, and taken off his toes, poked away by Tosin, out for a Bournemouth throw.
And since the goal, it's been Bournemouth down this left-hand side that are making ways, trying to get into that Chelsea box.
Well, we're going to have another twist here. Kirkes is not going to be in any particular rush to take this throw. So we've played 97 minutes, so we're in the last 60 seconds. Brentford have equalised against Manchester City, so we've had a late equaliser here, and we've had one at the G-Tech Community Stadium as well, and we've had one at the City Ground, because it's now Forest 1, Liverpool 1. Jota with the goal as Ouattara sends it forward, out of the reach of a couple of teammates, through to Robert Sanchez, who's got the ball in his hands, but he's lumped it upfield, Glenn Murray, because Chelsea, if they're going to win it in the most dramatic fashion, it has to be now.
It does, it has to be now. They're just trying to find a way through here as Reece James gets a huge cheer. He's still at right back, but just touches the ball, gets a huge cheer. But they're just trying to penetrate this Bournemouth back line.
Kirkes sliding in, wins it from Enzo Fernandez. Jefferson chases it on the halfway line. Reece James gets there before him, gives it to Tosin. Now with Colwill, we're in the final few seconds. Levi Colwill, 20 yards outside the box. Cucurella far left, he's got it. Now Neto, this is Joao Felix. Felix feigned to shoot, dragged it back onto his left foot. He's giving it back to that right hand side. In comes the cross, low, hits Howson, goes flying up over his own crossbar, and Chelsea have a corner. Yeah. And we're in the 9th minute of stoppage time.
It's one of those, it's a low ball, and he goes to kick it away, and he just gets his trajectory be wrong, and it skips off his boot and out for a corner. It could have went anywhere, that from Howson.
So if it's going to happen for Chelsea, this has to be it now. They've got a corner, and Reece James is being ordered to go over and take it. But we have played almost the 9 minutes, perhaps moving into the 10th minute now of stoppage time here at Stamford Bridge.
Now or never for Chelsea.
Chelsea 2, Bournemouth 2. Reece James got the equaliser in the 5th minute of stoppage time. Now with the corner from the left-hand side, right-footed, Tosin's header, and it's going to bounce away and out for a goal kick. And that, Glenn Murray, might be the end of what has been a brilliant night of Premier League football at Stamford Bridge.
It has indeed, and the whole of Stamford Bridge were up, phones out, they were waiting for that moment, they wanted to record that moment, and as that ball swung in, it's actually the two centre-backs that challenge one another, Colwill and Tosin, getting each other's way, and the ball sails high over the top of Travers Bar.
Well, the cameras are stood right next to Enzo Maresca, the TV cameras. They're zooming in to get his reaction as soon as this full-time whistle goes, and there it is. It's finished at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 2, Bournemouth 2. So ultimately these two are continuing the individual and differing runs of form. It's no wins in 5 now for Chelsea. It's 9 unbeaten in the Premier League for Bournemouth. It could have been a very different story, because after Palmer's goal in the first half for Chelsea, the response from Bournemouth brilliant at the start of the second half, through first a Kluivert penalty, then Antoine Semenyo's goal, but right at the end, Reece James's free kick has ensured Chelsea, Glenn Murray, have got at least a point to show from the occasion.
Yeah, they have. Wasteful in the first half, they were brilliant, Chelsea. Could have been 3, could have been 4-0 up, but didn't convert their chances. And if you don't do that at this level, the other team are always going to punish you. And Bournemouth came out like a different team in the second half. That high press was back, that confidence was back, and all of a sudden Chelsea were on the back foot, and a couple of early goals in that second half, and it looked like Bournemouth were going to get a huge victory here at Stamford Bridge. But it's a local boy, one of their own, Reece James, in the 95th minute, has stepped over a free kick, bends it to Travis's left-hand side, and it finishes all square, 2-2 at the Bridge.
And 2.5 years, Glenn, since Reece James last scored a Chelsea goal. You could sense that there was a real outpouring of emotion from the stands. Not so much him, you mentioned it in commentary, he was just running back because Chelsea wanted to win the game, but you really sensed that the Chelsea fans felt that goal Reece James scored.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a real feeling and understanding around Stamford Bridge and around Chelsea supporters. They want him to be a success. They know they've got such a good player on their hands. They just need to try and keep him fit for a more consistent period of time.
Bournemouth might feel like they've lost this game in many ways because of that late goal, but what a gutsy performance from them. Given the number of players they're missing at the moment, given the fact they were 1-0 down here, they have showed an awful lot of guts in that second half.
Yeah, they have. They'll be disappointed in the manner that it was a draw, but I think when you zoom out and you look at everything, you take into consideration the whole football game. I mean, you've got to look, Chelsea had 26 shots. You can't really give that many shots up and expect to win the game. I think from a Chelsea point of view, they would think, do you know what, we've created enough, we need to be more ruthless.
So nothing really has changed dramatically for these two in the Premier League table. Chelsea, as it stands, are still 4th with 37 points from their 21 games, and Bournemouth 3 points behind them. They could have been level had they hung on towards the end there. 34 points from 21, so they are in 7th, but they have edged a little. They've edged a little closer to Man City. They haven't, of course, because Brentford and Man City has finished 2-2 tonight, so they're a point behind Man City and a point behind Newcastle United as well. They are right in the European race, aren't they, Bournemouth?
Yeah, they are right now as we look at it. I mean, when you look down to 8th, Aston Villa on 32, right up to Chelsea in 4th on 37. There's beginning to form a little group there. It seems like it's a direct scrap for European football.
Glenn, great to be with you tonight. Thank you very much for your company. I know you're going to be back on 5 Live very shortly, sharing your thoughts of the game tonight, but great to work with you again.
Good, it was enjoyable as always, Chris. Good game as well.
Super game. Chelsea 2, Bournemouth 2 is how it's finished.